test.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear us now?
Testing.
Yes, now. Okay.
Okay.
I think when I hit record, it did something with the speaker. So, okay. Okay.
Perfect.
We are so sorry to the Zoom people, but we got it fixed now.
Yes.
And it should pick up as you walk
Okay.
around. That's a pretty good speaker. So
Okay.
we should be good.
Perfect. All right, so you will hear me refer to damsel in defense occasionally because that is like the only experience I have as far as personal sales. So I will refer to that. And then I will refer to Fuel Ministry. Fuel Ministry is our nonprofit. And I have a bigger reach on Facebook and things like that with that. So you'll hear me refer to Fuel Ministry. So those are the ones. Let's go ahead. Your first assignment of the day, check in. We are currently at All Fit Gym. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just sit tight. That's okay. We'll talk about it. But let's do a check-in. You can do it on your business page. If you don't have a business page, you can do it on your personal. You can do it on either one. We're on Facebook right now. We're doing a check-in. And I gotta find it. All Fit, one word. Make sure you're tagging the right one. All right. All right, perfect. Okay, so we just did a check-in on Facebook. We're going to refer back to that towards the end, see how we did as far as comments, and kind of look at the insights of that. If you do not have Facebook, that's okay. Anyone want to explain how to do a check-in? We'll make this interactive so it's not me talking.
Facebook page, yes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Anyone want to tell us how you did on your phone?
I can.
All right. First, you have to introduce yourself. Tell us about the company that you're with.
Marina Farland, this is my day for that day. I'm stopping my pizza here and seeing it. Perfect. I'm managing it right now, so I will try to do this. So I have a thing with Facebook. I haven't figured out yet how to only have the business page linked on Facebook. So I have mine and the business page linked. But here, if you go to your menu on Facebook app, you can see your profile, and then we have two separate pages. One is ran by corporate, and then the other ran by me. You will go, you will click on your page, you scroll down, and then you can hit publish. And then it brings up all of these options of what you can do: camera, add a photo, live video, and then check in. and then you will go and you'll just search the place you're at. And then pin it. And then you can post about what you're doing there or things like that. And then you just hit publish and you're good to go.
All right, if that was clear as mud, consider taking the Facebook class. I think it's a 4-hour class. So that's probably the most in-depth class that ABCAP offers. And we get into more of that detail. What did we just accomplish by doing a check-in?
Reaching new members.
Okay.
I don't know anybody who goes to this gym, so by checking in here and other people checking in, they see that, and so you open yourself up to a whole new audience of people.
Perfect. And Victoria, tell us about your company.
Yeah, so I am the owner and founder of the Trinity Gypsy Boutique. It is a secondhand, pre-loved boutique that specializes in high-end fashion.
Perfect.
Located where?
Right now, out of my home, which is
Oh,
kind
okay.
of exploding at the seams. So I'm looking for hopefully like an office space or a storefront in the near future, fingers crossed. So.
All right, so basically what that did, anyone who looks at the All Fit page will also now see Victoria's page, Snappy's Tomatoes, my page, your page, all of our pages. So you're helping other businesses because now anyone who visits my page, our Varney Marketing and Photography, now sees All Fit. So I just basically created a business relationship between the two, and we can help each other. So the more opportunities you have to share with other businesses, the better. The more you tag and share. So it can be very beneficial for those.
I think too that it gives you credibility.
Yes.
It gives you good credibility of you doing more for your business and by being here.
Yes, I love it. Many times people are like, I don't have anything to post. That was an easy post. We accomplished that in 10 seconds and it did. It gave us something different. A lot of people are like, I'm posting the same thing over and over and over again. Well, that just gave you a little variety by doing that. So anytime you're doing a business meeting, checking out some vendors, you want to tag where you are, so that kind of helps broaden your scope a little bit. Good. All right. Any questions over that? And again, I know some of you might not have been able to do that if you did not have a Facebook already created. Unfortunately, we don't have time to create Facebooks today, but there will be some more time for that. It's really good. It's looking perfect. All right. So I always say, before you can just jump in and start posting a bunch of things on your social media, you have to know the purpose, the vision, the plan for that. Are there any companies here today that have a clear vision that they could share?
I know ours is out there, but that's what I was trying to find. I can't find it.
Okay.
So I was looking for it.
Victoria?
My boutique, my vision is to help women feel fantastic and make clothes they wear because you're beautiful from the inside out.
Love it.
All right. Yes.
This is
Uh-huh.
would say that I want to have the preferred waste management service in Adams County.
Okay. Tell us more about your company and you.
It's just purchased it within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Took over a family ran trash business that operated 67 years.
Yes.
It's in bad shape as far as equipment. My brother was working with them during their billing, so he talked me into investing, and I've taken that over, and I was a retired healthcare provider. And this is totally new.
Yeah.
The stock numbers and all the stuff I'm having to learn, but I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, good.
And I'm also, I think more so I enjoy to do small business and you know what that's gonna take.
Mhm. And what is your first name?
It's actually trash removal
Okay.
and say shop local.
Okay, perfect. I love it. All right. Anyone else want to share the vision? All right. I'm going to hit some of these, and then we are going to take some time to like collaborate as groups. One of the things I want you to, I don't want to just want you to just take in information for 4 hours. I'd like this to be kind of, you're able to take something back to your group by the end of this. So if you do not have a clear company vision, that would be probably the first thing you want to do before you start creating social media pieces. A company tagline, Beth?
Found a mission for you.
Okay,
To enhance economic growth in the Brown County area by focusing on education, promotion, and
collaboration.
of business, community recruitment, development of emerging community leaders in those areas of the community affecting business. That's the mission of the Brown County Chamber of Commerce.
Wow, submission. That's a long one. All right, Beth, are you representing chamber today or representing your other business?
Well, do you want me to be the bridge lady, the chamber lady, and the hospice lady?
You want to hit on
I can be the
hospice?
trucking lady too, if you need.
Oh, that'd be good. We might as well throw out Wagner's Trucking. Is that what
I don't have all my cards with me, but Wagner's Whitetail, Wagner Trucking, Hospice and Hope, Ohio Valley, Brown County Chamber of Commerce, Adams Extension, Chamber of Commerce, Brown County Bridge Committee.
Good. Yes, she's representing all those things today. So we gotta put the plugs in there. Good. Perfect. So that one's a very lengthy one. It can be a quick fuel ministry. So Fuel Ministries are nonprofit. Basically what we do is provide instructional dirt bike and quad church camps. So our mission or our vision is to draw racers closer to God. It's simple, very clear. So it doesn't have to be 30 seconds long. All right. Taglines. All right. So I thought I had an example. All right. Whose tagline is this? All right. KFC. Very good. All right. So why'd you know that?
See, and you know how you hear it. You know it.
Yes. So the goal is for people, as soon as they see your logo, they know your business. Does anyone know how many times someone has to see your logo before it's like engraved into their head?
7.
Ooh, close. Well, it probably depending on where you see that.
It might have a tag.
And it changed to like 70, and it used to be 7. So I thought in today's environment is like 70 times.
I've always heard 12, but they have to be close touches, like they have to be, recent. It can't be like 12 touches over, 2 years. So maybe 70.
Well, but there's much information we're inundated with on a daily
Yes.
basis. I mean, overwhelmed with stuff.
Yes.
It'd have to exceed what it used to be. I think 7. used to be the
7
right
might,
number.
yes. And
Yeah,
then,
it has changed dramatically.
yes. So 7, we'll say 7 to 12 times you need to see someone's logo, hear it. It could be smelling it, depending on what type of business you're in. Do we have anyone that's in the food? Yeah, snappies. So it could be a scent that you smell. I know for me, like, we're big Gold Star fans, but when I smell like cinnamon in chili, my mind goes to Skyline,
Trigger.
right? So there's different triggers. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be like a logo that they see. It could be smells. Good. Anyone have a tagline? Do Snappies have a tagline?
Make it snappy.
Yeah,
Get snappy. I knew that. Okay.
or ordering a snap.
Take
Okay.
a business app and make it snappy.
There we go. Anyone else have a tagline? All right, so our Varney Marketing and Photographies, ours is get noticed with our Varney, because no matter what service we're providing at that moment, it applies. So get noticed with our Varney. So it's,
I have a question.
yes,
I know because of my connection with the Snappy,
mhm,
I get a lot of stuff on Facebook that says, would you like to boost your
mhm.
thing? And at some point, I'd hit yes, and then I wonder, is it to the point of ad nauseum where this is all people are seeing? I would be sick of Snappies if if I had this up in front of me all the time. It's like a reverse psychology of, have you ever thought about that?
So the way the algorithms work, it may feel like they're seeing it all the time because you're seeing it all the time, but they're not necessarily seeing it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so the goal is for you to change the algorithms where they do see your thing. If it's been a while since I've clicked on Brown County Chamber of Commerce's site, I haven't seen it, I can go months without seeing it. But if I click a few things on their site, then it will start populating. So if I go searching for something, then it'll feel like I'm seeing it all the time, but then it kind of goes away. So you want to try to make sure it keeps popping up for them. And that's why, depending on who your target market is, will determine which social media channel to use. Some benefit more from Instagram than they do Facebook. I could see where Victoria could benefit more from Instagram. Southern Hills Career and Technical Center could benefit just as much from Instagram as it would Facebook. Does anyone know what the difference is as far as Facebook and Instagram, as far as target markets?
Yeah.
The age of the users. Facebook is for the parents, as the young ones say. And, Snapchat is actually can be an effective business tool. TikTok.
Oh my gosh, you blow up. It's one video and you're blown up.
TikTok, it didn't make it on the list of things for us to talk about today, but I'd put TikTok up there, depending on what your business is. We very easily could have said 6 social media platforms and did a whole thing on TikTok. Depending on your target market, TikTok may be the way to go. And if you're sitting there thinking, there is no way I would be on TikTok,
You're missing out.
you may not want to do it.
Yeah.
But you could hire a 16-year-old at $12 an hour to take care of your TikTok account, and it could blow up your business. So you don't always have to think, well, I'm not doing that. You could always hire someone else to do that for you, who is good at it, so that you're not learning how to do it or feel weird doing it or whatever. Yes. So you have to look at who your target market is. So does anyone know who their target market is off the top of their head? Victoria?
So mine is mostly fellow moms, in the age group of 20 to 40.
All right, and how did you determine that?
So in my VIP group on Facebook, looking at the algorithm and the interactions in that, and then through my Instagram and my TikTok.
Okay, so there are insights. There's data that's collected with your social media that can show you, and we can dive into that later today on how to find that. But you can actually break down your social media target market, and your target markets do change across platforms. So Fuel Ministry on Facebook It's more of the moms and dads. It's more men than women. And it's in that 25 to 45-year-old range. It's also, you break it down by cities and things. Fuel Ministry, we have camps, we're adding camps every year. So we're in Florida, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Missouri. Now, like I'm from Ohio, so of course most of my followers for Fuel Ministries in Ohio. Partners of mine with Fuel Ministry, they're in Louisville, Kentucky. So we have a lot in that area. So our target market is mainly that Ohio, Kentucky region. So you want to look at what your region is. That will help determine what your graphics should look like. And what works on Facebook may not work on Instagram. Instagram for us is more of that 16 to 25-year-olds that ride dirt bikes or ride quads. That's our target market for Instagram. So it will vary from platform to platform. It may be beneficial to have one person in charge of one and someone else in charge of another, but they would need to collaborate and cross information over.
So, excuse me, so
Yeah.
TikTok, you mentioned that, but how do you target that?
So how many of you have a TikTok account? All right, so we're looking at 4 out of 14 of us. We won't discuss ages. But if we said how many of your kids are on TikTok, then we're gonna have more hands go up probably. TikTok is great for, it's getting younger and younger, isn't it? So probably like as soon as I get phones, I've got a 13-year-old who's begging to be on TikTok. And you can watch TikTok videos without having a TikTok account. So even though she doesn't have a TikTok account, she can still see TikTok videos. So that would be more of that. You can start influencing them at age 12 with TikTok. So good question. All right. Some businesses I think are easier. Are you with All Fit Gym?
Yeah.
Today? Okay. You're going to have an easier time applying TikTok to what you do than some other businesses. Southern Hills could use TikTok easily. I think there's some things that just kind of flows. Boutiques, I think you can make it flow. Fuel Ministry, Snappies.
I think so with my TikTok,
Yeah.
your phones are listening to you all the time.
Yeah.
And my phone has realized that I manage a pizza shop and our life revolves around pizza.
Mhm.
And what shows up on my TikTok are other pizza shops. I follow a pizza shop in New York City and
Mhm.
it's a rollout videos of them, their pizza life.
Yeah.
And that page has millions of followers. And what you hear in your everyday, your phone's hearing, and that's what shows up.
Mhm.
So,
I know, don't you hate it? Christmas rolled around and I already knew what I was
Oh,
getting
yeah.
for Christmas.
yeah.
My phone told me, yes, based on the ads that my husband was looking at, it was populating onto mine. So I knew exactly what I got. Yeah. So that kind of falls into this marketing ideas for target market. Use your competition. Use a pizza shop in New York, a boutique in Wisconsin, a career center in North Dakota, fitness center in Hawaii. There's no reason why you cannot find things that work and do not work for others. If it does not work for them, it may not work for you, and don't waste your time with that. If it's working for them, it may work for you. So I always say, don't reinvent the wheel. You should use resources like that. So I'm going to stop right there for a second. I want you to kind of turn your tables around or your chairs around a little bit to where you can create two circles and share ideas. Tell everyone who you are, your business, share some ideas that has worked for you, has not worked, what you're wanting to try. Make a point to find them on Facebook, Instagram, like their page. That way we can support one another. But I feel like sometimes not everyone's going to talk in a large setting. So I like to kind of break it down a little bit so that we can talk a little bit more. Just Do It is Nike's. Finger Licking Good is KFC. Made in a Snap. What was it?
Order in a snap or make it snappy.
Make it snappy. So it's things that you hear that you know exactly what the company does or who the company is. So it's just like help. It comes in handy once we get down to hashtags and things like that, if you know what your tagline is. All right, so let's go ahead and break into two groups, and you're sharing ideas of what has worked, doesn't work, who you are, what you do, because there may be, you might be able to collaborate later. We have been able to do that in previous groups, and it's been very helpful.
Missy. I'm with the chamber. She's on our board of directors. But
Yes.
Started at LJ. Started 2 years ago. Not sexy.
Working is what matters. I'm paid for part of it. Operates overseeing. We have been in business 12 years. Every year we increase sales. So we've never had a down year yet. Knock on wood. There's a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, but it's worked out extremely well. I'm gonna brag a little. We're gonna get into $1 million in sales this year. And when we bought it, it was struggling. It's put a lot of legwork into it. We paid our dues.
You just had the one location.
Just the one location. Looking for another one right now.
Yeah.
My name is Jimmy. Me and my wife.
Yes, when I left Southern Hills,
Brother
I
Jim.
still have- Yes. It's still like,
Yeah, this is her vision years ago. And she's always been, I was too, I used to work on started changing.
Yeah.
Handful of friends.
We don't do things, we only do things to take it out, we have to retire, so I take it over.
Copy that, moved to a different location across from the old wire restaurant. Just rented the space out, but what's the space this spring? Still puts it great. She operated it and moved to another location next corner. And the building that was, and the space in that building was probably the size. Still personal training, but not able to open up to capacity as well. Fitness center. And so we come across this one. So, you know, really suggest golden rice, lots of more equipment, and we've been here about 3 years. And I have zero social filter. I'm not Facebook, nothing, Twitter, nothing, but go around this year just to learn more about it. Try to market. Before
I know someone else is interested in
She,
Yeah, I'll be the best social marketer by the end of 22.
Yeah,
The library
Yeah,
has
yeah, it does.
several of our workshops and they're
just,
really good
it's
about
worked out.
sending
You know, you always hope when you start a business that it does.
So what advertising do you do? Just word of mouth?
Yeah. That it. So now we're back to about 350. You just sell some numbers.
When you hear people talk about your gym, it's.
You guys have adapted to.
Where's the gym? Okay, well, it's in the capacity. Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize you were there. And it's so, about people, the first thing you hear saying this to you is a surprise.
Kind of.
It's a gym, right?
I think it's a header in my website.
And I'm like,
So it's three sides.
Joe, I went to a gym one time, you know, and then she, I'm like, okay, all right, well, that's what Jason and Rachel have been with. But I have seen you grow from ITC over Freddie K's. So I used to work in Huntsville, so I went past all of these locations twice a day. So yeah, I remember you guys were there, and then over planning, and then now you're getting.
Get into that. Didn't want more commission. Yeah, so to speak.
That sounds good. That's a reality.
It's a reality.
And I'm sure we'll come.
We've got two bad. There's times that
Them.
I'm gonna be eating.
Brand and she was like, it's a raccoon carrying a trash can. And so I
Like I
broke
said,
my
yeah, we had a-
trucks and I kept thinking I should do it.
Just have it.
Ooh, you saying that, the road. I'm not, throw something out. About today.
I think
Communicating lessons is pretty good thing.
and they're constantly.
What about like the friends we have, been here or the work
We know now.
Yes,
That's a big thing. But saying, Facebook. I get on my wife, or I get on all kids account, I creep around a little bit, just like.
I think your best source. I think for us, any business, right? Just to support improvement, to stay started. And that person needing.
So now I can say
Share this page. And on this date, one share. One month membership. For us, I think it was a $50 gift card, just to get our page out there, and people see our page and it being. I realize it comes in with that.
I think I
Love you, so, even if it's one year, like,
10 years.
on that. You'll get the likes, you'll get the comments and engagement. We're gonna win.
And it's a challenge to get that presence out.
Yes, it
I mean,
is.
I had to
Yeah.
to build, get followers. Every day, effort.
You have to be.
Make comments, likes, whatever. What's your website? Global HR, globalhrc.net.
The reels and the stories.
And if you aren't active, it'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's been X amount of days since you posted something.
Website, Untitled Chapter, the website that we do our website.
I'm also
It's
trying
all
to
share, and we just have some.
And it will tell you, it has been 3 days since you posted something. Have you
Yeah,
thought about this? Have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this?
Yeah.
These are the topics that you maybe share. The analytics on Facebook is just crazy. It knows what you need to do and then it will.
It'll direct you.
Yeah.
And you think that you're posting too much, there's never too much.
That's
Because
what I
like you
was
said,
worried about.
there's
Right?
never
Yeah.
too much because the same person will not see the same thing twice. Like, I mean, you could probably post 2 or 3 times a day and you're still not gonna catch the same people
I get the notification once a
twice.
day at least.
Reels is hosted by Instagram.
And then I'm worried, and I'm probably making people sick of it. I didn't realize it's so sweet.
And LinkedIn, I was following LinkedIn all the time, daily, but, and I see people, and you're not just, some of the teaching they, you got the content in 2 or 3 hours. But that's the same people all the time. I put my voice in this, too much. So I, that thought too. It might be the age thing.
Too, I have our set.
What about like, I don't know how they work, but like asking like your number people talking there, like, hey, you want to get the schedule? Like, well, I sign a waiver or whatever, like, tell us about your favorite books or your favorite genres, like that kind of thing.
But it does, I think it's.
Yeah.
You see it once. I don't think it's too much. Facebook knows what it's doing.
Okay, what type of budget do you put? You want to ask, you put a set budget, right? That you're to boost that signal. Would you boost it at all?
We do some, we boosted, we don't, I normally don't boost it every day, it's more special. I can't remember what it makes sense.
What's recommended? Is it $5 a day, $10 a day?
Because it gives you.
It kind of depends on your audience and your dollars, it'll tell you like $5 is gonna reach 1,000 people, or $10 is gonna reach 5,000 people or whatever. So it depends on what you're posting and does it need to reach 1,000 people or 5,000 people? Because like if I'm sure when you boost, you narrow it down to within a certain miles within your restaurant. And there's only so many people within that circle. So there's no reason for you to pay more to boost outside that circle because it's just a waste of money at that point. So it kind of depends on your audience. Post that reach 1,000 people.
Because like, I mean, I know, but I've already done for marketing.
I shared to my page.
I mean, without.
And all of our families shared to their
So that that.
And then their families
So marketing
shared
already
to
approved.
their page. It's like whenever your kids have,
I don't know how
Facebook.
First,
Yeah. Because when you share something on the page on a business, now, if I've shared it, it's Missy gonna share it. And if Missy is shared it, it's her mother and mother will share, you know, it's kind of one of those, you can rely on share sometime rather than boost, as long as you know you have followers who will share your post. You know, and then you can tell that, like this other post we have, we only have 200 people on it. And all of a sudden, it's like the next post is 12 and 4,000.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just the more that we encourage people to share our information, the more it grows.
And just saying that, please share.
Yeah, feel free to share.
Yeah.
If you know somebody, please, you know, make them aware of this information. And our number one share, or our number one post is always a testimony post. So, you know, it's always a customer that has used our services, who's had an excellent experience, and they're able to verbalize it, share it with us, give us permission to share it, and then we can push it out there. So our is 4,000. You know, and that's 10 shares and 4,000 people. So it got shared 10 times. but we
2 more minutes.
Yeah, it's a challenge to get started.
Is there anything that is worth
Who's,
like, sharing?
daunting to take on the task.
Yeah, I know Facebook work, yeah, for me, we try to help, trainers to help us out, like teach classes and stuff.
Whenever you shot
They
as far as
for
pictures and video last
social
year.
savvy, I guess. So
For
I'm just trying to upload it
so
myself.
like there was
I think it's perfect. Get everyone else to share it.
Year
To their-
ago.
You might have
before it
a couple hundred followers, you know. but That's why they have 500, 600.
Right.
And then use it for districts promotion. So
I know, I was from my local university consulting business. I was doing videos, not, I shouldn't do videos, but develop content, that's a big thing. Every day do. It's very, some videos have more likes or follow or shares than others. I did actually, even we do a presentation, where you always want to try to get some of their attention, do something common, joke or whatever. I did one set behind my head, no shirt on, make it look like I was naked. We got the attention.
Yeah.
They got over 1,000 views at least. People scroll down. "Oh, this guy's looks like they're naked."
Yeah, they watch it.
Yeah, they did.
Let me tell you a story. We have in the pizza restaurant, we have learned, and I didn't do the analysis, but I'm a franchisee, franchisor, Snappy. They did a research, and when you order food online, it's typically 10 to 20% more than if they call in. So if we have 100 tickets, 30 of them, you think adding $10, $20,
Yeah.
starts adding them up. And the people that are online ordering food, they're in no hurry. Nobody's on the phone rushing. They just got, and they look at the whole thing and they order more food. Who would have thought? But you know, I'm like, all my business to go online. I still gotta have a phone, but online really beneficial to me. And nobody, I would never have thought.
Yeah.
And they can order at 3 a.m. and sit in the bus if they want.
Yeah, I do have actually a separate.
All right, we'll go ahead and come back together. So we'll do some more of that throughout the day. We will, what time is it? Okay, so I don't know if any of us mentioned, the restrooms are down the hall. At any point you need to stretch your legs, get up, go to the restroom or anything, feel free. We'll break at noon for another break. And then we wrap up by 1, so we kind of move fast through this. If at any point you feel like we're moving too fast, let me know. It's just a lot of content to hit. So if I see nods, I assume that we're doing well and I keep on going. All right. So I want to take a moment and just make sure we're clear as to what our vision is and what our mission is, because they're actually two things. Our vision is the dreaming piece. If everything goes right, it's how your organization will change the world. The mission is the actual doing, the doing piece, how you intend to act as a servant leader. Your mission statement proclaims who you serve, what you serve, and how you do it every day. So I want to make sure everyone's clear that there's a difference, and you should have both. You should have a vision, your dreaming piece, and then your mission is what you're doing day in, day out, hitting it. And it could be the same thing, but it could be two different things. So what are some ideas that came from this group over here that we need to share with this group? Is there anything that jumps out?
Just come up with unique content every day or whatever.
Mhm.
Getting the views.
Getting the views. Yes. This group kind of talked about that, but talked about the planning of it, making sure that there's efficient time to put those pieces together, especially when it has to be approved by others. So it's the planning process behind getting that content to put onto the different platforms.
Let me ask a question as far as the content that you're talking about. Is there a rule of thumb on how concise it should be? Small? Are you talking a minute, 2 minutes, 3, 5 minutes? What is the rule of thumb of that?
For video or for any?
Or for anything, you know, how much time do you expect somebody to sit there and actually read what you're putting or the video?
Very good. So they say for print, to keep it to where like on a graphic, there should be like 10 to 12 words max, because people do drift off. Videos, they always say like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Is
After a minute, I'm like,
Yes.
what's the point? Am I engaging?
Yes.
Am I entertained? Yes.
Yes. So 30 seconds. So you've got to jump in there with the punchline and, hit them and keep on going. So I do primarily real estate photography. And before, for our videos, people will be like, I want a 2-minute video of this, a walkthrough video of this home. Now realtors are like, I just need 15 seconds, 20 seconds, just 30 seconds. Can you give me a 30-second video? These 2-minute videos are driving me crazy. Everyone's putting these 2-minute videos on the MLS. It's just, they're too long. So now, and I think it's society in general, everyone's just getting to where they're rush. It's now they're saying just do 15 to 30 seconds. This group over here kind of hit on some things that we'll talk about later, but Instagram Reels, Facebook Stories, TikToks, they're quick. I mean, they can get lengthy, but the whole point is they're quick videos. And I think that's kind of where we're at with society as a whole. And if you have too many words on a graphic, it makes it harder to read. And like you said, people will keep on scrolling. The other thing we should hit on right now is the fact that if you're posting just words, you're wasting your time. You have to post video or pictures with every post, because if it's just words, people keep scrolling. They don't even stop to take a moment to look at it. That's just the way our society is. It's got to be, and you'll see where some people put videos or pictures that have nothing to do with the content. They just get you there.
Yeah. I think too, stories. So Facebook stories and Instagram stories, that is where the posts absolutely need to be, because I've realized that Instagram and Facebook stories, when I make a post to the Facebook page, 300 viewers, stories, 600 plus. And people are, because it's right at the top of your screen, it's a quick view, and then it moves on.
Yes.
So I think stories is where it's at as well.
Trends. Keep up with the trends. Right now, the trends are these videos, these short clips. So love it. All right. Networking. We can talk all day about social media, how to improve your visibility, how that will strengthen your business, how that will bring more clients, how that will bring better employees. But the bottom line is networking. Networking will get you a lot farther than paying $1,000 for a Facebook ad to run. I am totally against paying for ads, because I feel like you can effectively do a campaign without paying for it. But I think that goes hand in hand with networking. If an event like this, I feel like will get you a lot farther. I'm already going to be talking to our AFLAC rep here today about providing services for my husband's company. I would have never have crossed paths if it wasn't for a networking event. So many companies will say that's a waste of time, don't go, we don't need to send anyone. It is the relationships that go with that. Networking increases relationships. Whenever you can use the word networking, you can use the word relationships. It's how you grow your business. It's how to increase sales. It's how to increase visibility. So before we start getting into all the different social media, I do want to hit on networking, that networking and relationships will grow sales. I spend a lot more of my marketing dollars on client gifts, thoughtful gifts, and then just investing in time. If you, I'm going to go back to Damsel in Defense. Damsel in Defense is selling pepper sprays, conceal and carry purses. There's not that many consultants around this area that sell that. Pampered Chef, I'm sure you've all heard of Pampered Chef. Damsel in Defense is the same thing. While I was building our Varney marketing and photography, I sold Damsel in Defense items because I knew that I needed some income coming in while I was building my business. And I knew there wasn't any Damsel in Defense reps in this area. So I sold those. I sold $35,000 worth of pepper sprays and conceal and carry purses in a year. Get crazy. They're $10 each. All right. So yes. But it was taking the time to invest in individuals. So it was, I would drop my kids off at school. I would make myself sit in my car for 30 minutes. And I would not go in because once, you know how it is, once you go in to start working, you start working and then you don't take the time to market. So for 30 minutes, I would send texts, hey, you came to mind today. If you want to, in your line of work, say, I know safety is a big thing. I have these $10 pepper sprays. If you want to talk more, let's talk, but I think we need to get a pepper spray in your hand. If you repeatedly invest in their lives and show them, reach out personally, you're going to get farther sometimes than posting on Facebook, hey, anyone out there that's a realtor, I think you should have a pepper spray. If you're a teacher, I think you should have a pepper spray. You know, like you're going to get further if you build a personal relationship and you have to carve out that time. So whatever you're doing today may not benefit your company later or immediately. It's going to benefit you later. Many times businesses or individuals look at something and they're like, I invested 30 days in that and I didn't see anything from that. So we're just going to stop doing that. Well, whatever marketing, advertising, networking that you're doing today, you may not see that for months out. So you plant the seeds now. It's just like planting a garden. If you plant it now, you're not going to immediately sit there and be like, oh, my flower is now 5 inches tall. It looks great. It's going to, you've got to weed, you've got to water, you've got to feed nutrients, you've got to work at it. So referrals and things do take some time. So you have to, in whatever you're investing in now, you may not reap the benefits till later, and you have to look at your goals, your marketing goals for now and for what it's going to be in the future, because it does take time to work at it. And you do have to carve out time. A lot of times, and I'll use a realtor as an example, a realtor will get really busy. They'll be like, I don't have a lot of business. So they're working every day trying to build clientele. Then they explode, they get busy, they've got some houses pending, they're doing a lot of they have a lot of buyers, you know, they got a lot going on. They work that cycle, then they're dead again. It's because during that time, they was not still carving out that marketing time to fill in 3 months from now, 6 months from now. You have to constantly keep working at it to build your clientele, build your business. If you get busy and you're like, I don't have time to do that, you will eventually see a cycle where you've got to start again But if you continually have that cycle, you're going to find yourself needing to hire more people. So that's the best advice I can give, as far as how to write your goals. But think of, what are some other networking ideas? Let's hit on that real quick before we go. What are some?
Randy pointed out in the group that one of the things you got to ask people to share. Sometimes just putting on the page, please share this, and it works.
I love it. Yes.
It's almost too simplistic.
All right. So who's Randy? All right. Randy, Snappies.
Dave said.
Dave, Snappies. All right. Still trying to figure out who everyone is. Can you tell us your company?
It's, I got two of them. One's a global human resources consultant,
Ooh, I like it.
and that's why I was heavy in LinkedIn and use that tool quite a bit.
Yes.
Also just recently started with a new company called LJ Traffic Control. All we do is hire flaggers. You see all these people
Yes.
turn those little paddles all day long.
Yes.
Stop, go, and slow. And we started like the company started about 2 years ago with 5 people, now there are like 150 people scattered around Southern Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia. Well, it's amazing. I mean, it's not sexy at all, but it's just,
It can be.
good work for people.
Good work.
I guess we turn- It's a good place. People start, they start off around $14 an hour, to start out with no experience whatsoever. We get a lot of people getting out of the food service business, just trying something new and different.
Yeah, good. Okay. Like to hear what everyone's doing. Any networking ideas, Randy?
So I think for us, right now we're doing it, the schools, getting a personal relationship with the schools, because instead of that 1 to 2 pizza order, we now have
Yes.
63 pizzas going out for a local school, and building that relationship. So when they need a pizza party, who do they contact? Snappies.
Mhm,
Just building that relationship there.
mhm.
So
How many of you have a relationship with a school? All right. Yes. So I'm gonna use All Fit. So, and Georgetown. So Georgetown, I know in April, they're doing a community event, and they're asking for small businesses to come and set up. They're also looking for community members to come in and teach something. They have, I think they call them Flex Fridays, and then they have Incentive Thursdays or something like that. And they do gaga ball, basketball, yoga. They have a bunch of different activities. I've gone in and I did photography with some students, but they're always looking for activities that get the kids up and moving around. And so I have one of my realtors that I shoot real estate for. When I asked how he heard about my company, it was because his daughter was one of my photography students in that club. So he's now he's in my top 10 realtors that I work with. So that all started because I volunteered some time at a local high school, and it turned into something. But All Fit, for example, could go in, do some free classes with these students, and in turn, it could turn into parents or them later on, because you planted the seed and they grow later. They may maybe become clients once they're old enough to become members. So definitely look at how you can get involved in your community. It may be investing some time, but again, it's a great networking tool. So you should work it into your company marketing goals. Obviously, the library works with the schools, and that's a great benefit. But there's always a way to connect. If you bring some garbage trucks around to schools, they're going to be fascinated. So it's just they're always looking for our people to come in and do things. So there's definitely ways to get yourself into a school. On your table, I did lay out a paper, and hopefully you've been jotting down notes, but marketing ideas, just jot down notes that people have shared, goals. So always think about what you want to immediately do, and then what your goal would be for 12 months, 3 years, 5 years. And like I mentioned before, it constantly changes. So our Varney Marketing and Photography, when I started in 2017, I did a lot of human resources. I did recruiting. I did marketing, brochures and door hangers and things for businesses. I went in and I typed up manuals and made job interviewing processes for companies. Well, that turned into, I was doing recruiting for a real estate office, and the owner said, hey, your pictures, I like your pictures on Facebook. Can you come take pictures of my house? I want to see if you have a niche for taking real estate photography. So I went in, took pictures for her 5 years ago. And at that time, my business was definitely 100% marketing, no photography. And it wasn't called our Varney Marketing and Photography. And then I started taking pictures of real estate for her. And then it led to, hey, can you take pictures of my kids? And then it led into, now my business is 95% photography, 5% marketing. And now it is primarily real estate photography. I now work with over 100 realtors, and I have a full-time photography team who go and we shoot for realtors in Brown, Claremont, Hamilton, Northern Kentucky, for the whole area. So when I was looking at my marketing goals back in 2017, I had no idea that I would have a niche for real estate photography. So with that being said, sometimes your goals can shift, and for example, he hired 5 flaggers. Now he has 150 flaggers. 4 years ago, if we had asked him if that was in the works, no, it was not in the works, because there was an opportunity that was presented and he found a little niche. So keep that in mind. Your goals can change, but you do always have to be kind of looking at that and break it down. When you start a business in July and you had no idea 3 months prior to that you was going to buy that business, and I forgot your name again, sorry. Sharon went into an industry she's not familiar with. So her goals are going to be changing. And it sounds like you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants. So, it's just breaking those goals down so that it can be manageable. So good.
One thing we did for networking, and I found that we do this in a lot of the towns that we provide coverage to, is a networking group of similar services.
Yes.
So we do help, it's called something different in almost every county. But it's a group of healthcare providers, like in Highland County Networking Group. But what is it? It's the hospital, it's all the doctor's offices, it's all the hospices, it's all the home cares, it's all the D&E companies. It's anything that's related to health care. The marketer or the public relations person, we all attend, and we kind of trade ideas. Yes, they are our competitors, but at the same time, it's one of those, what's working for you? What are you seeing? How is it working in that area? Okay, what have you done differently? Because the new normal is not what we were doing 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's, before, okay, you used to have health fairs, and you had job fairs, and you had all these different community events you could attend. and sell your business. Those aren't happening. You know, and then as you get to know these people, individuals, it's like Sharon and I know each other from a medical standpoint. But Sharon and I have also had a great in-depth discussion about logistics and trucking.
Ah, yes. Very good. With that being said, you could also do the opposite and create a resource network group. They do these all over the county, well, every county, where you can only have one person from every type of business in a group. So you have like an insurance agent, human resource person, a marketing person, one realtor, one bank, one, lender, whatever the case may be. And you have monthly meetings, and each month you have like a topic. So your accountant can do something this month on taxes. Next month, maybe your human resource person does something on hiring.
I envision chambers doing. That's why I just joined the chamber recently, because I would appreciate that networking.
Yes.
And hearing.
Yeah. I know, Missy, do you guys have any plans of creating more networking groups in this area?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is once a month we have a monthly membership meeting. And one thing that's really different about our monthly membership meetings is we always hold them at a different location throughout the whole entire county. And so one thing that does is it gives you a behind the scenes look at that business. Like for example, a couple months ago, we had our meeting at CMT Trust, which is in Sardinia. And they got to explain to the group, like how trusses are made and how that relationship is with the Mennonite community, business community, and things like that. And then when our meeting was over, they actually took us a tour of their location. And a lot of times you will never get to see what goes on in those types of businesses or behind the scenes if you weren't attending those types of meetings. Like we've got to take a tour of Millicron, which if you've never seen Millicron, I mean, it's amazing. And you don't get those opportunities unless you're part of this type of group. And then the other thing we do is we always do have a business topic speaker. So whoever the host is gets to speak at the meeting, and then we bring in people to speak something business related, whether it be insurance or taxes or like this month, our topic is how to save on your utilities, gas, electric, because that's a big thing right now. So we have a whole speaker that's going to help talk about businesses and utilities. So yes, so that is a great networking event. And one of the things that we found is because we hold it at a different location every month, people that are attending when we have it in Fayetteville are not the same people that are attending when we have it in Ripley. So you're always meeting new people. So it's not the same people that attend month after month after month, and you're just talking to the same people every time. So yes, so we have that. That's once a month. And then we do have some new things coming up on our calendar. We want to start doing some business after hours events, which are strictly networking, that type of thing. And then we want to get into some, a lot of our government is business policy is set by our government. So we're going to have these networking events where we bring in our local rep, our senator, or things like that. So the businesses can actually talk to people that are making the business decisions and have that relationship as well.
Definitely look at joining chambers, resource network groups, and collaborating with, you can look at your competition in different ways, but definitely collaborating can be great tools for that. So there are definitely different networking, but I mean, it's as simple as handing people business cards. Most of the time when you see me, I'm wearing either a Fuel Ministry shirt or our Varney shirt. Because, again, wearing logos, people see things. You can do something like just putting your logo on notebook. You know, I use this all the time. I usually always have one with me just to jot things down. So I have a flash drive somewhere sitting here that has my logo on it. So when I go into a business meeting and I'm providing resources to that client, I put everything on an RVRD flash drive. So again, I'm leaving my logo because you do want them to see it over and over again. And it's just great ways of giving them glimpses of your logo. So remember that when you're networking, you're listening to what people need, not necessarily preaching at them, but find what they need. And so that you can meet their needs, because that's more of what it's all about for that. Good. So for social media, you need to break it down. And there's different ways of doing that. It can be depending on your business, and that's what's hard about a big group like this. Some of you would benefit from a business page only. Some need a group. Some need to learn more about the Facebook stories. Some need to look at Instagram more than Facebook. Some need to look at Pinterest. Some of you will not benefit from Pinterest. Some of you will benefit from TikTok. Some of you will not. LinkedIn is a great resource. It just depends on what you're needing to do. And then that's what you would need to focus on. So you can cross. You don't have to have one specific way. And again, when you're trying something, don't just try it one time and say it didn't work and you move on to something else. You do have to feed into it. So if you are struggling in Facebook, I would suggest taking the Facebook class. If you're struggling with Instagram, take the Instagram class. If you've never heard of Pinterest and you find out that it would benefit your company, take the Pinterest class. Another one that's that was not mentioned when you signed up for this is Google Business. How many of you have a Google Business page? Google Business connects you to the map, the Google map. So when someone types in Snappies, you would come up. Google Business is free. And do you have any Google Business classes coming up?
No, that's something that's in there.
Okay, so AppCap does offer Google Business classes. If your company has one, a lot of times they have it and no one knows who or how to get into it. You're going to want to find out how to get into that. And this is where you update hours, add photos. You can post on there. You can do several things with it, but it's worth it to build it into your schedule to where every couple of months you go in and update your Google Business with updated pictures and information and things.
It is very beneficial. We don't locally, but through the franchisor.
Yes.
They have a Google and they manage it, do everything. It's, wouldn't believe the number of reviews, the Google reviews that we get, and it lets you respond to them. It's pretty impressive. I'm not a big fan of Google because I think they grab too much information, but it's pretty effective for a business.
Yeah. If you're trying to hire and they look up your company and they don't see you on Google, the last time you posted on Facebook was 6 months ago. You don't have an Instagram account.
Long message.
You are sending the wrong message. All right. So you have to have these things. My husband's company, he started, they opened up a new location in Milford in August. And so he kept saying, I I need to hire 5 people, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept saying, when I have time, you know how when it's something you do for a living, you're like, you can wait, you can wait, you can wait. I said, I'll work on your stuff, as soon as I have time. So I sat down one day, I created him. He had posted a couple things on Facebook, LinkedIn. He got no response. I created him a Google business page because theirs did not have one for that location. Added some pictures, went in, took some pictures with my camera so that they would have professional photos on there. I then used those professional photos to post on LinkedIn, Google Business, Facebook. I didn't even use their business. They don't even have a Facebook business page, so I didn't use theirs. What I did, they're in Milford, so I joined the Milford neighborhood group. So I'm now a member of the Milford neighborhood group. And I went on there and posted some pictures, did a little write-up of what they're hiring for, posted it on all those sites, including the Milford neighborhood group, and didn't tell him that I had done this. And his inbox was getting flooded with resumes. And he's like, I don't know what happened, but I got 20 resumes today. And then the next day he got another 20. And he was like, I didn't pay for anything, but I used different groups and had different people share the information. The chamber got a hold of it. They shared it. There was some others who shared it and said,
Boom.
Hey, Uncle Tom, look, they're hiring. This may be for you. And by the time it was all said and done, it had been shared 100 times. And I didn't know any of these people who had shared it. Sometimes you got to think outside the box too. A lot of times people are like, I shared it on my business page. That's all I need to do. No, you need to look at, a lot of times people use those yard sale groups. But you need to look at, I think Georgetown has a small business Facebook page, look at different ways that you can get that information out and think outside the box and promote not just with your specific Facebook. Randy?
I think to elaborate on Google, we just did a recent remodel of the store.
Yeah.
And I had posted that to the Google business. And within 4 months, because we sit right on 32, I mean, people are looking for food places in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And the pictures that I posted, 150,000 views.
Yes.
Just in that short amount of time. So
It's crazy.
people are using Google
Yes.
to search things.
And people use Facebook to search things.
Yep.
Sometimes people don't realize how if you are not consistently posting, it looks like you've closed. So you do have to keep updated information and keep posting. So definitely. So business pages, VIP groups. VIP groups can be used different ways. It could be used as a way to communicate with current clients or certain groups of parents. I'll use the library as an example. They could have one for parents of preschoolers where they go and share resources for preschool parents so that they have kind of a place, a community. I could easily see the fitness center using one for all their VIPs. You feel important. You feel like you're part of the club. If you're in this, and it would be a way that they could share different events and things with their members. You can also use it in boutique situations, trash collecting situations, things like that, if you need to use it as a communication tool. So there are different ways to use that. Facebook marketing. We've kind of already shared what we think are some new ways of marketing through Facebook, and that's through video. Video is the thing right now. You get a lot further with videos. People are uncomfortable with videos. I'm uncomfortable with videos. I don't even know what I do with my phone. Some of you can easily grab your phone and, get on there and start talking and do a Facebook Live. Some of you are going to be better at setting a camera up on a tripod, practicing in the mirror 10 times, and then pushing the start button, stopping it, redoing it. So it kind of depends on what you're comfortable doing. If you want to practice a Facebook Live, do it at 1 a.m. in the middle of the night and delete it real quick, and no one will ever know you did it. If you want to practice it, you don't do it during your business time. If you're uncomfortable with videos, now is the time to get comfortable with videos or hire someone who is comfortable with videos. Hashtags and tagging. I always say, some people are like, what do I need hashtags for? Sometimes they can be used as kind of a shortcut when people are skimming. They can see what the post is about because they read the hashtag. It can also, if you're looking for something, you're searching something, it can help with your search process. I always say use the same 4 or 5 hashtags. And that way people, again, it's kind of like a tagline. They're seeing it, they know exactly as soon as they hear a tagline or hear a hashtag, it's like a tagline, it comes to mind, but it can be a search tool, and it kind of connects your Facebook and your Instagram and everything together. Does anyone use an effective hashtag? Victoria, library, how many do you guys use?
Depends on the different programs that we have, but those are basic.
Okay, good. It does, it's kind of like an organizational tool. Her answer was it depends on what program they're promoting. So when someone's scanning and they see a hashtag that is about their summer programs, they know exactly which posts to read if they're trying to find some information.
I think too, so back to TikTok.
Yeah.
The algorithm on TikTok, for instance, the pizza store in New York, one of their hashtags has nothing to do with pizza.
Yes.
But because it is such a relevant hashtag, it puts it in people's faces as well. And two, another tip on hashtags, if you can make that hashtag specific to your business, when you click on that, your business will be the only one pop up.
Yes.
I'm realizing I'm getting married this year, and I'm in a wedding group, and everyone's like, I need a hashtag for our wedding.
Yes, that's
And
a new
so
thing.
if you like on Instagram and things like that, when you go to that, I realized there's thousands of couples in that one hashtag. So when I go to comment, I'm like, somehow try to make this hashtag specific to you at a special number, something that will give this hashtag only to you. And so it does help in that realm as well.
Yep. So it does. Yes, I agree. You want some that set you apart, but also some that connects you with that community. Perfect.
That's a question.
Yeah.
I'm totally ignorant on hashtags. When you put a hashtag out there, does that cross overall borders? I mean, if you put a hashtag in LinkedIn, does that automatically go to Facebook and TikTok and all these others?
Let's try it. Who has a hashtag that we can search?
If you want to, I think try STP semen. STP semen.
So where are you typing that in? Are you typing?
Now,
Google?
I know on Google, if you type in a hashtag, it will bring up that hashtag for every platform that it's on.
Okay.
Um,
That's good to know.
Now, if your page is private, or like if your personal page is private, it won't bring it up. But if it's on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, it should come up.
Well, you guys did, I searched hashtag STP semen on Insta and nothing.
Are you guys on Instagram?
No.
Okay, that'd be why. All right, so it is. I'm having, my internet's slow. Anyone else?
It comes right up.
Okay. All right, so.
I've got 3.
Oh.
What comes up on Google is the store location, which is the normal Google.
Yep,
result.
that's when I,
And then I've got 2 Facebook pages that come up, and then the Snappy Tomato business on Google with the pictures and specials and things like that.
all right, I just searched R. Varney. And I had my website come up, and my Facebook and my Google.
And you did that where did you?
I just searched it on Google.
So google.com,
Mhm.
go to that
Or whatever your normal
search engine is.
Yeah.
Gypsy,
The trendy gypsy buggy.
trendy.
And that right there should tell you how important your GMB, your Google or business page is, because everybody Googles everything. And then before they decide which one they're gonna use, they're gonna look at your ratings and your reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got some pictures. What's up? So it does work across, but you can go to Facebook and type a hashtag and it'll pull up anything on there. You can go to LinkedIn separately, put in the hashtag, pull it up, Instagram, TikTok. You can use hashtags, like I said, for fun, but also as a marketing tool. I'm trying to think of a funny hashtag.
Like, I know that it also like kind of interacts with your community. Like I cloth diaper my daughter. So like when I see pictures of her and she's wearing a cloth diaper, I use hashtag cloth diapering mom. So then I'm automatically reaching out to a whole new network of women and moms. And then so that's also like kind of networking there too. And I've noticed like when I go on Instagram, like my personal page and my business page are combined. Like they're just 2 things on my, I share it under my personal because it is public. And I've noticed like the cloth diapering thing, if I go on and I interact, just search that hashtag and interact with other women and moms who have used the same hashtag, it boosts my algorithm, it boosts my posts back up to the top of the feed, it boosts everything. It boosts my followers, my interactions, my stories, my reels, everything, just by taking 15 minutes a day and interacting with one hashtag.
So I was trying to find, I know there's a bunch of funny ones. I was trying to find one. Sweaty selfie. Let's see. Ooh, I just saw that. That's just popped up. Not under sweaty selfie, but so of course now I can't find any funny ones. You guys know what I'm talking about there, right? Where they're just funny, like exhausted mom, you know, those types. But who they would be one, like if you had posted that on Saturday and Sunday, you know, it connects you to a whole lot of people, Cincinnati Bengals. You know, there are ways to connect. I always say during a storm is a great time to post because people are checking for traffic updates and weather updates. And so as they're scrolling, that's a good time to post. My husband always laughs. So I'm like, our electric just went off. I need to post. This is the best time for me to be posting. Because people are, you know, they're scrolling. So when's the best time to post on Facebook?
Morning.
No, mine has been at 7:00. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Can I get someone to look that up right now on Google and just put, when is the best time to post on Facebook? It actually depends on what industry you're in. And it depends on what's going on during that time. And I know I've talked about this with the Facebook workshop.
Between 1 PM and 3 PM during the week and Saturdays.
All right. When was that posted? Did anyone get a different answer, like specific days?
I've got between 9 AM and 2 PM, Tuesday through Thursday, 12 PM, Monday through Wednesday, and between 8 AM and 10 AM, and 5 PM, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I have a bunch of them.
So I just asked for a couple people to look up when the best time to post on Facebook. So algorithms show, insights and algorithms show when the best time to post would be. Sometimes it is, it depends on your company, but it also depends on like what's going on. It used to be easier to determine this when like Grey's Anatomy always comes on Thursday at 6 PM. You know, when our society has changed, so where Netflix and Hulu has kind of changed some things. You used to kind of know like everyone's watching, remember when Survivor, everyone tuned into Survivor at the same time every night? Like that was not a good time to post because everyone was too busy watching Survivor. They're watching the Bengals, you know, whatever the case may be. So there's certain times of the day and certain days of the week that are not as good. So like when you walk into the office on a Monday morning, what are you doing? Are you scrolling Facebook? What are you doing on a Monday morning when you get into the office? Checking email, planning the week. Is Mondays at 8 AM a good time to post on Facebook? Is Mondays at all good to post on Facebook? Probably not. A lot of times what you see is that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are your best days to post. Why is Friday out? Everyone's getting ready for that weekend. They're already, they're already busy.
Well, let me ask, is that based on her search history? Or is that just a general algorithm across the board, across the world?
Yeah.
Or is it based on her individual search history and her individual search history?
So no, it is the national. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the national, but you can break it down more for your particular business. So hers is a boutique for moms. They're putting their kids to bed, so she's going to pick up more people in the evening time because that's when they're sitting down and wanting to shop, do online shopping. So it kind of does, it depends on what your business is. But, you know, overall, anywhere on Google will tell you not to post on Mondays and Fridays. But you can actually kind of, depending on what's going on, what season it is, will kind of determine, the answer is going to be different in the summer versus the winter and different things. So you have to constantly be looking that up to see what's working and what's not working. You can actually look up your insights on Facebook and Instagram, and it's on your page under insights. And it'll tell you exactly, it breaks down your posts and you can see how many people saw a particular post. And so that you can kind of break it down and see what's working, what's not. Instagram and Facebook are actually different times to post. When is most people on Instagram? If your target market is that 16 to 25-year-olds, when are they usually on Instagram? Late at night.
Not during class time.
Should be. Yeah, so you're gonna hit them more if you wait and post at night. So a lot of times I'll post stuff on Facebook during the day, during that, what was it, 1 to 3, Beth? What they said, 1 to 3. By posting 1 to 3, you're hitting that evening. People, they just got home from work. They're just scrolling. If you post between that 1 to 3, you're getting those scrollers. And then if you post later at night, you're hitting your Instagrammers. And word from the teenagers, do not post a bunch on Instagram all at once. You're not allowed. You can't be, because I'm guilty of it sometimes. I'll do like 5 posts in a row, and then I'll hear, Mom, stop, look, you're in my Instagram, stop. Teenagers don't like that. They want you to just post one thing and move on. But if you do want to hit them with something, you can post several different things close together and it'll hit their Instagram.
I'm gonna throw an algorithm that carousels do better. Like not just one image, but if I can do an image and a graphic or two images and a graphic, the carousels is way better than just one post by itself, than just one image by itself.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but they have more likes, they have more comments, everything.
Okay.
Can you explain what the world's carousel is?
So on Instagram, you can upload up to 5 photos at one time on one post. So like yesterday for Valentine's Day, I just uploaded like 4 images of me and my daughter, and just said she was my Valentine. And I had uploaded all 4 photos on one post. That picture did better than on my business page where I just put a happy Valentine's Day graphic, because people want to swipe, they want to interact, they want to see what else you have to put in what else you have on your post. And those are called carousels on Instagram. And they do better than just doing the one picture by itself.
You know, the other thing, you didn't post a picture of you and your daughter on your business page? People like to see personal too.
It's in my lives all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes a lot of people are like, they don't like to post the personal stuff that their company does because they feel like they're gloating or, whatever, like Christmas parties and things like that. But people actually like to see those things on Instagram and Facebook. They want to see who works there, what do they look like, how do you interact with your employees, things like that. So people like to see that personal side of your business.
Yeah. So I had made a post on the business page. It was a selfie of me and what I had to do to cut onions.
Yeah.
And that post got 700 more views than my normal post because that was an insight and personal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very true.
Yes. Yeah. I hate to be in front of the camera. I'd rather be behind the camera. But my post where it shows me or one of my employees, it does go a lot further. I agree. All right. Scheduling posts. How many of you use a program to schedule posts? They say that is not as effective because Facebook does not want you using other scheduling software.
See, I use, and I'm going to be at the Facebook training because Facebook has changed on their mobile app scheduling, and it is the hardest thing. And I cannot do it as easily as I once was able to.
Mhm.
So I will be there.
The meta,
Yes.
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 I'm about ready to strangle Facebook right now. Yes. They used to give you a choice, and now they're like forcing it on everyone. Yeah. The scheduling, so Facebook can block things, and there's rumors that they block those
Well, I'm
scheduling
even
software.
Using like Facebook and my VIP group, like using their like publish later date, like setting, like posting something, but then setting to publish it at like 7:30 tonight. It won't do nearly as well if I just put that on there and do it myself. Even though I use Facebook's publish later thing, that was still won't do nearly as well as just getting on there and doing it,
Mhm.
which makes no sense.
Mhm. Yeah, so
Creator Studio.
yes, Creator Studio is the new thing for Facebook. It's a part. Yeah.
We're not sure how that happened. I think somebody did it by accident, but going to a Creator Studio and there's a whole host of different options. It's just completely different, but we're actually finding we kind of like it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
with it.
So she's talking about one of the changes Facebook just recently made. It's a part of that whole meta Facebook change, but Creator Studio, it does have a learning curve with it. And if you like change, you're probably okay with it. If you like going in and doing the same thing and being quick and just hurry up and post something and move on, you're going to hate some of the changes that Facebook just made. It's like anything else. If you've got time to sit down and figure out what they've done, it could be beneficial. If you're in a hurry, it's going to drive you batty. So, but when we were having our last Facebook group, Facebook workshop, that was forced upon the library to use that, and they were not real happy with it. But now it sounds like she's starting to like it. It's getting better. So, so just kind of keep an eye. If you're using one of the scheduling software, just check your insights, post some without using the scheduler, and just see if they're doing better than the ones. Also, if it sounds salesy, Facebook tends to block it. It kind of knocks the algorithm down a little bit. So you want to try to avoid words like selling, sold, prices, things like that. You can put it in the graphic, but try not to word it in the description, the post itself. We kind of hit on the Facebook Live and Facebook Live a little bit, but also Facebook event, Facebook Messenger. There's different things you can do with that Messenger now. You can schedule it to, if someone messages your page, you can do an immediate response. You can even build it to where if there's common questions, you can set it up to where it automatically answers those questions for you. You can set it up to where it gives an away message, so you can, at night, you can turn it to where it says all questions will be answered tomorrow during business hours and different things. So you can play around with that a little bit and see if the Facebook Messenger is a tool that you would want to do. If you're a control person, it may drive you crazy if it's answering questions for you. But I turned it on my Fuel Ministry ones, and I just went through and looked at all the, like over the last 6 months worth of questions that was asked on Facebook Messenger. And then I built those into Facebook Messenger site. And so anytime someone asks one of those questions, it automatically gives them the answer. So if you're a one-man show, one-woman show, that could be a great tool for you to use. So you could check that out. Facebook polls is a new one that's been added. You used it recently. I don't remember what it was, but I remember.
New date for live,
Okay.
asking people what day works better for live.
The more you can get people to interact with your page, the more they will see posts. So if you have a big event coming up, you want to try to get the likes up prior to that. A lot of places use bingos as a way to get some popularity on their page. One of my friends, she did them, she sells at Monet or whatever. And so during the Super Bowl, she had everyone posting who, and then she'd throw a day in there, and whoever commented right before that won something. And she did that throughout the Super Bowl. So she had people who are constantly all day typing who onto her Facebook. And basically what that was doing, they were getting a chance to win, but it was also adding her company in there into the algorithm. So they're going to be seeing her posts more, often for the next couple weeks, couple months or whatever. So it could be a great tool. It doesn't always have to be, buy this. It can be some fun, interactive things. The other thing people will do is they will put things like, tell me, or, here's a funny story, like, this happened to me today. Tell me how your Friday's going. Well, they're just getting people to interact with their Facebook, and then they'll share something. So it helps increase the algorithm. So, and that could be with your personal Facebook too. If you're constantly just sharing things from other businesses, you're going to kind of take a hit on the algorithm. But if you get people to engage with your personal Facebook and get conversations going, it is going to help you when you do share something over to your personal Facebook. So it's all about those algorithms and how you can get people to direct their traffic over to you. Let's go ahead. How are we doing on time? Good. I want to go ahead and work on this. These are some software, some apps that you use to make graphics. Because I think a lot of times people get stuck on like how to make graphics or what to put on them. There are definitely, or some people pay a lot of money. I keep forgetting about these cameras and I keep trying to walk towards you guys. People will spend a lot of money on software. You do not have to have Adobe Illustrator and InDesign and Photoshop to do simple Facebook, Instagram post. What are some software or some free apps that you use that could benefit everyone in the room? Word Swag? Is it on your phone?
Yep.
Okay.
I have Quotes Creator.
Quotes Creator, another one on your phone, right?
Yep.
All right.
Canva has an app.
All right.
They have a free or you can pay.
Canva is going to be a good one that you can use on your computer and your phone. It's great for creating a logo, for making a flyer, for making a Facebook graphic or Instagram graphic. It's kind of a nice go-to place to make signs, banners, everything. I'm going to throw one of my favorites up here, PicMonkey. That one is on the computer and your phone.
Are we talking graphics or photo editing as well?
Let's throw some photo editing on
I
there
like
too.
Lightroom. The app is free, the desktop is not, but the app is free.
Yes.
Because on all of my social media platforms, every single photo that gets uploaded has the exact same filter on it, so it all looks consistent.
Good. This might be an area that,
I liked Canva the best because whatever you told it you were posting it to,
Mhm.
it made sure that you had the minimum and the proper.
The sizing.
Instagram's more of a square, Facebook is more of a rectangle. Sometimes if you make it to fit on Facebook, it's not gonna fit on Instagram as well. Good. How many of you are making Facebook graphics, Instagram graphics?
You can do a lot. I've made stuff in the Instagram stories feature, like using just the Instagram stories with like the little bit emojis and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then just save it to my camera roll and then upload it as a graphic.
I can't believe no one, usually I have someone who says they use Snapchat to make their
I do
pictures.
sometimes. I do sometimes. If I can't find it on one of these other apps, I will go to Snapchat because Snapchat eventually has everything you need.
How many of you have a Snapchat? Yeah, so a lot, I'll go in to do corporate portraits for a company. And there's always one who's like, can you just use my Snapchat picture with all the filters on it? Apparently, yeah. If
I buy pre-made graphics, so depending on what industry you're in, you can buy graphics that are already designed for your industry. Like I buy a Chamber of Commerce social media package. Once a week, I get like 4 or 5 graphics sent to me every Monday. I can choose to post them or not post them. We make our own also, but to have those pre-made ones that are already designed for me are really quick and easy, and you can just throw them up there. And so you can search your industry and find packages of these graphics that are already made specifically for whatever that you do.
there are healthcare packaged graphics, real estate. Human resources has one, travel industry has some. Trying to think of what else has popped up. Let's search. There's probably a food one, would be my guess. Hotel, there is hospitality. But yeah, definitely, some are gonna be more pricey than others, but it may be worth it. And the other thing would be just paying a graphic designer to create you a bundle also. So I would suggest putting your logo on pictures. That way, again, you're hitting those 12 touches or those 7 touches so that they see your graphic, your logo on your social media. So you definitely want to throw that on there. Does every business in here have a logo? If not, it'd be worth investing some time and money to doing that. And if you don't have a big budget, you can use Canva to create your own logo. So definitely. Good.
What if they use the students?
Oh,
The
yeah.
graphic department that
Yes.
has helped us develop ours.
Okay. So definitely, Paula can tell you, is it still extension 340?
Yes.
378-6131 extension 340 gives you the graphics department there. And there's a room full of young, eager graphic students who could help you. Visual design. Very good. All right, so definitely look at using them as a resource. Perfect. All right. How many of you use Twitter?
Yeah, I've been
Twitter.
Like 2 years ago, I'm not gonna lie. When TikTok came out, I was like, Twitter's gone. Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone want to hit on Twitter? If no one has a Twitter, I don't really recommend Twitter for this area. If you're gonna invest time and effort into something, I suggest hitting the Facebook, Instagram. If you want to invest a little bit more time, TikTok. If you want to invest some time and you've already got a pretty good Instagram, Facebook going, and Pinterest could be beneficial, then I would throw in the Pinterest. Then I would put Twitter at the bottom of that list.
And why is that?
It's
I
just,
couldn't hear it.
it's dying. It
Oh.
kind of ran its course as far as a
Well, there
marketing
was
tool.
censorship there, wasn't there?
There's,
People
yeah.
don't like censorship.
And that's why a lot of people are turning away from Facebook right now too, but yeah, definitely. Did anyone ever use Twitter? I never used it for my business.
If I'm part of my business in less than 30 characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
to be honest, like, I don't know how to promote my business in less than 30 characters.
Yeah.
That was all there was to Twitter.
I know Southern Hills used it for a little while. Yeah.
We still have one, but we don't use it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's kind of ran its course.
So if you have one, like we have one, but we don't really post to it, or we tell it
That's what
to,
everyone says.
or we tell it to take our Facebook post and share it over there, which
Yeah.
it becomes very clear that we just shared it over there. Is it better to just delete it and get rid of it instead of it sitting out there and looking stagnant?
I feel like yes.
Okay. Like if you're not gonna use it.
If
do
you're
well,
not gonna
just get
use
rid of
it,
Okay.
I feel like it should be deleted. Because I don't think most people go to Twitter to search your company, but if you're not using your Facebook effectively, I would get rid of it until you're ready to commit to it, because it can hurt you. I was doing a social media for a bed and breakfast, and he, at one point, he said that I was making his bed and breakfast too busy, and that
That's a problem. Like,
apparently that's a problem. Yeah. And he canceled my service because I was giving him too much business. And that was one of the things I was like, well, that's fine, but you have to have someone who keeps posting on your Facebook occasionally, or it's going to look like you're closed. And, he didn't think that was true. Many people will use Facebook to search before they go stay at a hotel or something. And if you're not posting, it'll look like you're closed. If you have a boutique and you're not posting, it's going to appear that you're closed. You definitely have to post. And I am not saying post 3 times a day. How many times should you post in a week?
At least once, right?
At least once a week. And some will post every day. Yeah. But they say not to post 3 times a day, because then people start to get aggravated. So you have to be careful. If you're running a VIP group, you want to watch about posting too often, because people will leave your group because they'll get annoyed with it. So you got to find the fine line. And again, like everything, it kind of depends on who your target market is, on what that fine line is. That's what's so hard when you have so many different businesses in one room. It's hard to give clear answers because it is going to be different for every group on what that is. YouTube. We haven't talked about YouTube at all. How many of you have a YouTube?
I use it. We don't have.
Okay.
That's it. Sorry.
YouTube can be a great social media service. Great one. Allfit, do you guys have one?
No.
You could, and I think it could be an effective tool. You could put some training videos on there, some quick training videos, and then say, for more, come and see us, kind of thing. You just give them the tidbits. If it's a new service, a new class, give them a little taste of it and then get them to join. Many people have effectively used YouTube. And again, it's like everything else. You feed it into your Facebook, you feed it into your Instagram, you feed it into your other social media outlets. So you can look at YouTube as a standalone, but you can also look at it as a drive over to your social media. But definitely look at using video. How many of you have used like a time-lapse video? Has anyone not heard of a time-lapse video? Right, so time-lapse, my son works for Cricket Valley. We'll use that as an example. Occasionally, he'll set up his phone or GoPro to record while they're making a barn. Well, instead of this video being 3 days long, or well, it doesn't take them that long to build a barn, they can build one in a day. Instead of recording all day long, they can do a hyperlapse, and it looks like they're hammering really fast, and it'll produce a 10-minute video. So it looks as if they built a barn in 10 minutes versus boring you with the whole day long. Allfit, I could see you guys using that. Library possibly in some ways, but I don't recommend that for reading.
Right.
Boutiques, I think it's a great way to show more new merchandise coming in. That way, it's just kind of a quick glance at what you have coming. Definitely Southern Hills could do some time lapses. That would be fun. So you kind of need to look at how you can use those. But again, video is the way to get people latched onto your social media. And then LinkedIn. Sometimes LinkedIn gets overlooked.
Yeah, I have no idea what LinkedIn is.
Okay.
So I want to learn about that.
Okay.
I'm not using that since college, so 2013.
Okay. How many of you effectively use LinkedIn? Oh, yeah. Definitely for these two. I use it.
Talk about effectively, but it was there, it was used it.
All right, so LinkedIn, think of it as a platform for networking, other professionals, networking with other professionals. So it can also be a great way to share resources. I could easily see her as a human resource guru could share helpful tips, maybe once a week post a video or a graphic about helpful tips for human resources. Again, by sharing your Facebook, Instagram, you can connect those, send them to your website, and you're getting your name out there by becoming a professional in that field. So that's how you're promoting yourself. it's not necessarily, think of it as company branding, but it's also creating you as a professional in that world. So that's the main part of LinkedIn. You can write articles. You could be a published a published writer on LinkedIn. So definitely look at that as a way to connect with other professionals, a way to hire professionals, and a way to get your branding out there. That's how I meet realtors for real estate photography. It's a great hiring tool. If you're looking to hire professionals, definitely look at LinkedIn. All right, if you have, there's a LinkedIn class coming up. If you're interested in creating a LinkedIn account, I think it's
March 8th.
March 8th, thank you.
March Union, or no, I'm sorry.
Okay. So on March 8th, 10 a.m. to 11:30 is an Instagram workshop. And then 12 noon to 1:30 is a LinkedIn. You could hit both or hit one or the other.
But is there a cost associated with these?
No. So Lisa is a great grant writer, and she's found us some free money. So it's to benefit all small business owners.
Wonderful.
You know, LinkedIn, you know, I use it quite a bit trying to build my local human resource consulting business. And we put a lot of videos on there
Uh-huh.
and on a weekly basis. And you're right, we just use tips. And then I wrote a couple books and put it on there. I did those books just to try to validate you know how to spell HR at least.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's a great tool. Then so many postings on there, go through LinkedIn all the time. There's just more coaches on there than anything else. It used to be just professional networking opportunity, but it's everybody's trying to coach, self-coaching ideas, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's getting to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just-
Life coaches is the new thing, business
Exactly.
coaches.
I don't know if
yes.
anybody's working anymore. Everybody's just working home doing coaching.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting that they said that 25% of the workforce that is already in remote working from home employment will be within the next year. So already there's like 25% of the workforce at home, they're gonna, like the statistics say, 25% more people are going to become work from home.
Hmm.
Because prime example, Hospice of Hope, we have a building in Mount Ward, we have a building in Mason. Our building in Mount Ward had 2 big rooms like this of nothing but cubicles. The STNAs, the RNs, the chaplains, and the social workers. 2 different rooms, just nothing but cubicles. COVID hits, what do? You don't go to work, right? So they have all figured out how to work from car, work from laptop, work from phone. They don't need a cubicle desk, they just need their front passenger seat basically. So we have found a way to take all of that space that we were using for cubicles in the past, because those are now remote workers. We're now leasing the building out to a doctor's office. So we found a way to make money with going remote.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I'll agree with the business coach thing. I'm gonna go to Paramount Channel. It's interesting. I think I need a life coach, a business coach, a coach for my coaches.
Yeah.
The coach for your coach, yeah.
I have a question. To the folks, when they happen to stay in town to do your messaging.
Okay, that's true. In Claremont County, Hamilton County, there is a business called Co-Hatch. And what it is, they're taking places that are no longer in business and they're going in and remodeling and they're leasing office spaces out to small individuals who need a work from home remote type area, where it's just a one, like a desk, a copier, a printer, and a phone. You know, you just need a pod, basically. You need that cubicle space. So they have a business in Claremont County and Hamilton County called Co-Hatch. In Brown County, that's one of the things that Missy and the chamber have discussed in the new building that we're in, the Farwell Library. We have talked about making the back of the building into a business center with different work areas, you can come in and connect to the internet and utilize that. Because like, I know you run into connectivity issues with the internet every time we're on a Zoom meeting. So what also is being done is the old bank building in the old Russell building. It's called the Vault Cafe. Basically, it's an internet cafe. It's an internet cafe that you go in, you have plenty of spaces, you can sit down with your laptop and internet and get coffee and do your work.
So people aren't necessarily working from home, they might be having to find a place in town. Because that's been an issue everywhere I live. I go from trying to connect. Even I have a house in Maysville, but it's not in town.
And then on the other end, on the far end of that spectrum, you have people who are full-time working remotely. And literally, they vacation for a lifestyle. A lot of RVers, they just drive the RV to the next place. As long as you have the internet, you're good to go. And that was my joke during the ice storm. I'm like, I'm so over ice storms, it's not even funny. If I buy a ticket and go sit on the beach, can I still work remotely as long as you're working?
So people that really want, what are they doing in their homes to actually increase connectivity? You know, I'm so irritated about this last mile technology that just hasn't happened yet.
Your best bet is to find your legislators, because the money is there for rural development of infrastructure.
Well, Holly's working, I mean, our
Exactly.
development's working on that, but it's just like we wonder if it's ever going to happen. And it's, for instance, like, it's funny that you were saying you do, because I rented one room in town instead of, because the connectivity down at the shop where the trucks are stored is crap. So I have one little room. My brother and I go and use our office in our building.
And it's truly a problem, because, I mean, you look at it, okay, like the that's, you have homes in there that are in the housing market right now are $250 to $4 million homes in there. Well, when some of those homes were built, people from the city come out and build a house and then realize that that side of the lake didn't have internet.
We've got that in Cedar Mills in Adams County.
Yeah.
And they've got a fiber trunk line running along 348 or whatever the road is there, and nobody can hit on it. I've got an employee that we have internet phones, so I can answer and take an order from any place. They could actually be in China if they needed to be, and we could take an order. But I got a guy that wants to work, just extra fun money. He wants to answer the phone, but he can't because he lives in Cedar Mills.
Exactly. I lived out there, I just sold my farm here, and it was just so difficult.
That's Jim Chalker. I know you know Jim and Peggy.
Yeah.
And I've also seen people utilize the local library, because I know that the Brown County libraries have some rooms that are, they're individualized. It's a desktop with a computer, and it's shut in by itself. I know Claremont County Library has the same system, because it's called the quiet room and not quiet in the remote room or something. They're allowed to basically work from that side.
Adams has, there's this public, but they do have little cubicles and a lot of people, show kids too, go there because they can't get on the internet. Right.
That's something for the two chamber representatives to work
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I
Internet,
know.
fast internet access.
Development.
I know Brown County is working on that with their new.
Because
office.
I'm like Sharon, I've heard about it coming to Adams County
Yeah.
forever, but nothing seems to be happening.
Well, I'm in the process of, with this new business, I'm in the process of putting in a new software program and doing GPS tracking of the drivers. Well, you know, it's like, how can they check off anything on a smartphone or a tablet? In some areas.
If you don't have internet.
Yeah.
The Lapse does lend mobile hotspots. So, and we have Chromebooks that we're getting too to lend for free also.
That's holding one up right now.
I have
It's expensive.
I have one, I use, like, for my work, I have 3 Zooms a day, it seems like, and I travel counties, Ross County, Pike County, Adams County, Brown County, Claremont County, Highland County, Clinton County, Anderson Township. Okay, so all of those counties, at any certain time, I may have a chamber meeting, I may have, you know, and I'm marketing in those territories that day. So I need to be able to make sure I can get on the Zoom. Well, so far, this has been my lifeline, and I can get this from the library. It's a hotspot, yeah. So
Okay.
basically, it's the same as a cell phone with a hotspot. So I'll utilize this to help supplement and be able to remain mobile.
What I had to do is I purchased with my Verizon, my smartphone, a jetpack, I paid $20 a month. for.
Very same thing.
Yeah, just to give me internet.
I have two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing.
Does it work out? Did it work out in Cedar Mill?
It did, yes. That's how I was able to get on Zoom. Not always the best, but at least it's something. Same thing. I have my house on the river. I'm
Yeah.
using my jetpack.
Yeah, the jetpack, I do the 50 gig a month at $40, so you can pick a plan that works for you.
Mhm.
And that's what a lot of
It's
the
what I do in my
parents with
finance account, I
education
always have.
are doing. And
Yeah.
this is library, check out the hotspots for their students and their iPads to be able to continue education.
And I just
Definitely.
learned that recently. I think that is so cool that libraries are letting them check it out. So you can-
Yeah, definitely. All right. So then we come to a time where we're just going to brainstorm. I like to kind of break up. I don't know how well we can break up. But like if all the nonprofits could go together, that would be great. And then we'll put everyone who's trying to make some money, some small business owners, let's put you all on this side. And this is just a time to share what has worked, what has not worked. Kind of like what we did before, but it should break out into different groups this time. Library, school.
It sounds familiar. I've never heard it passing and like, I don't, yeah. I'm not gonna mess with that right now.
Maybe we're taking your paper with you so you can jot down notes. I think they said.
That's kind of her start.
It's not perceived.
Do I need the? You got that?
Come on in. We need this, bro. Somebody. No. She just had regular lady for, you know, she's. I'm just trying
She's only here 3 days. The other 2 days she's at home.
She got my library cards.
Nutrition, training.
She has tapped in there.
Yes, I mean, she's, that's what she needed to hear today.
But, you know, one person can't do all.
So I'm kind of getting to that point too. I need to bring, find somebody. I'm on board. Just the whole marketing, the advertising, even. Yeah, we've never done it all. Okay.
She just records them and feed them to her aircraft and whatever, and then use her photos and videos.
Shit over. I just gotta learn how to do it. Like, yeah, and it's uncomfortable for me. Like I said, I don't have any social media. I don't personally have Facebook, nothing. So, but on the business side of it, that's what I'm trying to learn it, just to help.
I've kind of had a paradigm shift here today. I'll tell you what, we've been very fortunate. We started out. And Snappy's sales terrible. Guy wanted to get rid of it. We bought it. So we've had 12 consecutive years of increasing sales. We've never had a down sales. But I've gotten to the point now where it probably plateaued. And I'm not sure I can continue on another 3 or 4 years, but I'm kind of committing her to doing this whole marketing, social media. And I just, the light bulb went off. I said, this may be the trigger that get us into those 2 or 3 years. So, you know, on our way over here, I said to her, I said, how does it bring off for 3 hours over social media? Well, how I know. I've been enlightened. It's been very good.
There's so much we could talk about. I feel like I'm just like, I guess it's more of an overview and then those, the next
I
6
think the
weeks.
thing that impressed me is, and it was all this stuff and telling us which ones are these, which.
Right.
And then also, not just that, it's like,
I've done mine today.
I just, I can't do this. I don't have the skill set and I don't really want to have it. I like everything, I like the business stuff. But like you said, find somebody, I mean, you know, I have a teenager that's gonna be graduating, she's gonna be college. I mean, I don't have a teenager, but she's in my family. And so you can, I'm just gonna pay her to do some work for me. She can use it for community service hours.
One of my realtors, right, she's using TikTok right now. You know who's running the TikTok? Her daughter is the one doing all of that.
I mean, I just have, I keep thinking I have. You know, I can't. That's the one thing I realized today.
But that is, I mean, when you see stuff
doing
that stuff is.
And my husband died a few years ago, and I would be lost if I did not really. And so it gives me a lot of, but I know that. So it's just so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, you can't do it, you can reach out through
That network.
It's sort of like you saying, I kind of,
You can bring it.
I knew these things, but I really wasn't taking anything.
All the gel.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and
it's like
there's,
manipulation.
there's.
I know it's the way to go, but I don't want to do it all right.
So there's also a thing called virtual assistant, but I mean a VA that you can hire. And a virtual assistant works from home, but they can handle your social media. I have like 4 VAs that work under my marketing. And, you know, it's just, it's full-time working moms who just need extra income, who are VAs. You can get on Upwork.com if you want to pay for someone to create graphics, things like
Is it
that.
usually by contract or by?
Yeah. It depends, it's both, yeah. So like I have some editors that I hired from Upwork who I train to do it my way, so that I want my photos edited. I don't edit my photos.
How's it have your flavor, your skill?
I gave them my.
Yeah.
And then I do the final editing, so they do the
They do the
list, they
cleanup.
do the checklist, and I go in and I seal the deal, yeah. But, I mean, I haven't, it's probably been 3 years since I've had to edit my photos.
That's impressive that you grew into such real estate. Do you become a shepherd like Mike?
I have some community shepherds, I don't know.
They have a
Are they around, are they Adams County?
But they have a lot, they do a lot of.
There's so, I work with the individual realtors, not necessarily the brokerages. So I think I've got at least one realtor from every. But yeah, definitely, I mean, VAs, virtual assistants might be the way to go.
And.
Upwork,
You've got to find the right one. A lot of the upper people, well, not a lot, some of them are overseas. I would not recommend anyone overseas handling your social media because of the language barriers and grammatical errors and things like that. But you may know by look at your Facebook.
I see plenty of people in here taking selfies, that kind of thing.
Yes.
That could be their membership right there.
Yes. Crazy
It's
enough.
on mine, certainly, why. Been there.
I have one who does all my TikToks.
Yeah.
I've got a TikTok expert on, I won't do it, but I have someone on Google. I'll do
Yeah,
it.
you touched on the TikTok, and I was just thinking, okay, we can actually do a time lapse of an order taken on the phone, or even someone sitting at home online doing an order, and then making the pizza, putting it in the oven, pulling it out, cutting it, and delivering it.
Well, you can even do like some funny, like, I'm sure you've had some conversations that are probably priceless. And you can reenact it like. You want, what?
You wouldn't believe how upset people get over a pizza. It's just a pizza, folks.
Make it fun, you know, like those would be some fun viral TikToks. You're trying to go viral.
Oh, yeah. We're the only ones.
But some people are so finicky about.
Well, they are.
Eat any place because they're not sure people, but they're not.
And we also have where you watch us make our food. So a lot of restaurants get it behind the scene and they put a blocker up so you can't see them. What were they thinking?
It does make a difference.
Ours is like we call it the fishbowl. You're working in a fishbowl. We want it that way.
Brings the trust into the business.
Yes. We agree.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to use outside sources and to have fun versus. This would be some fun. I have like TikTok. What if I did a paper, wire and paper? But you're right, look and see, bring in trust. I don't know what's like, it's big entity. And then just set it up where they have to do 10.
Because those are the market
criteria.
See, like, okay, you know.
I didn't know you had that.
I didn't get to know her name. You're set up.
But.
I may not go back to work.
These people you're talking about are a little bit older.
Honestly, I didn't know about all of it, so.
They're probably on social media.
This is a great network. That's what I'm
They love you. Well, their hours, we can bring their interviews. Yeah. Go there and. You can do that.
And that's the thing out in the hospital
every Friday. And I spoke on behalf of
Mostly
the hospital.
baby
That's
showers,
something that. Not even that.
Small
Birthday.
birthday
We
parties.
could do that. We could also.
The ideal when you live down here, you know.
During that hour or whatever that time frame is.
Crazy to get like, we sheltered outside there.
Oh, we've got
Weddings,
that.
but I'm here 5 days a week. not 1
People
week.
know about hospice.
Yeah, so-
whether they want to know
Not that we
about
can't do
hospice
it.
or not.
Once again, I'm by somebody else.
They're gonna
Tell my wife and my mother-in-law, but
Right.
Thought, yeah, we'll get the
Well,
last.
that's like outside, I was on the
She
phone with
milks
my boss,
cows.
and like, you know, I said, well, really show up.
My wife, she's here.
You know, but who wants to
You
do
know,
hospice in the middle of
weekends.
the pandemic when?
Yeah,
Somebody's
definitely.
going on the
So-
time, before you're dead, you know? Exactly, you know, and one
She
of our
works, she
nursing
does personal
schools
training 3
says.
days a week.
"Hey,
The other
we're
2 days,
girls, we can serve that."
and that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, medical massage. She does massage here.
I can be like this.
Yeah.
I can show up in an earlier, so it's you know,
That's the first
like
thing.
you're getting opportunity.
That's the rest of the first
Right,
day.
and that's the thing, is you don't want to take more than that, because you have the pro vaccine and the anti-vaccine and the pro this.
Our We're not in the gym, we're in the gym.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
We'll find a way.
So
Well, that's
that's-
a definite.
We just run. I mean,
It's a great network.
The other 2 days, she's got online nutrition.
Well, just being a
science training.
healthcare and
She does a whole
right now.
Yeah.
CMS mandate. And
Training and the massage.
I'm glad everybody else was a little angry because they're all gonna hire a bunch of nurses with the BSN. You know, you're gonna hire somebody that has, what is the BSN, a 4-year degree or something?
Yeah, 4 years.
So you're hiring a bachelor educated individual for a $14 an hour job. Probably not be your team, you know?
You can fill your top and your wheels like in like your wife does nutrition class, and you have a coaching class. And they literally just stick by your side and fill everything for you. Yeah, seriously.
And people are so interested in that too.
They fill everything for you, they take the pictures,
Yeah.
yeah. And then if you need to sit in the desk, so you can go help them, you can do that too, for you, train them how to.
Well, we did, for hospice marketing, I'm just a good 10 years back.
Yeah.
It was interesting that your comment
Because
said
that's
people like that personal
Oh, yeah.
video. I, you know,
Oh, yeah.
I hate to think that's just not interesting to me, but I can see where it would be with like $2 and $3.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, just.
I love knowing who's behind like
You missed it.
when I get on a Facebook, I'll keep scrolling until I find out who owns it. And try to, you know, I don't know. I love working
Part
with
of
small
what she
businesses.
said. The politics of it.
You wanna know that it's somebody that like, everything goes back to my kid, whether it's her gymnastics or it's our house or whatever. You wanna know that it's not just some CEO of Amazon who makes $1 billion a year, who just bought another car because he bought a book off Amazon. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wanna know that it's, where the money's going.
Killer is.
Hours a day are you spending?
It's
Like,
like
you're pretty well
you think you're gonna watch
breast
3
balls, so
videos,
to speak.
3 hours later.
Yes.
To do that.
So,
Because it's just short enough.
I do everything.
It's-
I do my
it's-
sourcing, I do my
it's-
photography, I do my videos, I do my.
Keep your attention.
I do everything. So what I do
Because
is
the way I would
is
have
I
learned.
and I sit down at the beginning of every single month and I plan all my
Because the way
social
it
media.
runs, it's watching what
And
you're watching.
it takes
And then it
one
just
day.
continues to.
And then on every like Sunday, I do not love social media. I take that day off, but I'll like get it to
Well, see, I get
and
stuff
I'll like
like
dollars. Like if I can
And
get
then
my public graphic, I'll get
$2.
that. Or I'll like type up all the content, that way all I have to do is copy and paste. Oh, done.
So the next one's gonna
I
be
guess that would make sense.
letters.
Usually you just work.
And then over back to an animal. Because what it does is it can study what I will install and I will watch it. Something I don't like. I go ahead and start.
I always-
So.
I like the ones that you
I'll
put
watch.
on your phone, you create content, because while you're sitting in the parking lot waiting.
And that's
for
all.
them to come out from basketball
Now,
practice,
hold
or
on.
you can have a graphic made.
I take
It's
something
worth it
on
honestly,
my
you
phone
know,
and
that graphic made while you're. OneNote is my best friend when it comes to posting my stuff, it's called OneNote, it's free, the app is free, the desktop version is free. It's like when I'm at home and I can type up all of my pre-written posts and then I sync it to my phone, like I'm out somewhere, we're out to dinner, whatever. I'm here, I'm post it, I just copy and paste, done, like under 2 minutes, all my presentation done.
Search Peterbilt
that's mind boggling.
and.
Yeah.
That's mind
It's a lot,
boggling.
I mean, I wear all the hats, but I really gotta figure out how to do this measure long and
Watching
to hire
the
somebody.
and. just-
It's
and
worth
just
carving
start
out
watching
time
it
and
alone.
create a bunch of
And
posts.
so if
Social
you
media
train,
is all the
when you
time.
train it,
Or make your
without
graphics and then
knowing
post them yourself.
what you're training.
That's the way,
That's scary.
yeah, I've already got my
So
graphics
these
made for every
days,
holiday.
All about well.
And you get, and I reuse them, the ones I used last year, I use them, nobody knows but me. Nobody's gonna go all the way
I
back
did
to
that.
last year.
I
Nobody's
did
gonna
that.
scroll all the way back to last year to see what Christmas graphic I posted or what happy Valentine's Day graphic I used. Nobody's gonna know. I don't know what, even ones like the time change, if you throw your logo on there, there's gonna be someone who shares it. Because like to remind everyone that, you know, the clock's gonna change, they'll see it, they'll be like, oh, that's cute, and they'll share it, whether they know anything about your business or not.
Strangely enough, pizza sales actually go back 1 hour in the summertime
Yeah.
versus the winter time because there's more daylight, people are out in the fields,
Oh, yeah.
they're out playing, they're at ball games. And then, and we've never really played to that audience and it's happened every year we've been there. We know that, okay, we were staffing from 5 to 7, now we need to go to 6 to 8 or 7 to 9. It's really weird. That's a great idea. We've never really played with it.
It shows you everything. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of fun things.
Oh, yeah.
What's that to do?
It's on TikTok.
Just
Because
keep
it's
doing the
McDonald's house.
tracking right
They tell you how to make the
and then
rice.
keep track.
It tells you how to.
Fish put it on the oil. That's why I was like, that's the biggest thing is learning how to read those reports.
Oh, it's simple. But it's perfected to the.
And like I noticed, like I took all of last month since it was a new year, you know, sports seasons change, everybody's schedules change. And I posted like the most random times every day, that like for the entire month to see, the algorithm wasn't working. My reports weren't really working for me, the top times, the trending times, those weren't working. And it was figuring, I was just taking the risk of January and figuring out that if I started, context and then the most eyeballs on it. So then over the rest of the year, over the rest of this, till winter time, I'm really gonna have to like time for when I could get people's attention, when I could get them to click through the buy something, when I could get them, interactive and easy to call.
So remember that trends will change too, because right now you're in basketball season, so your basketball moms, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever those game schedules are, but like you lose them. Softball, baseball, yes, you gotta see when softball and baseball games are, with the high school thing.
Like, I see one type of crocheter. and I see
Schedule it
one
around that.
crochet, and she started off with making her loop, and then she had the.
Honestly, it's actually pretty wide, so I have everywhere from like 16 to like.
Like, when you said
young
video,
14.
she
You
did
know, I don't-
making her loop too. She had-
Because I also have seen occasionally I do more than Etsy. I have a few clients through Etsy that do that. But mostly it's my younger demographic, the middle age demographic, because I offer like customized for them. So like if they want a whole new wardrobe, if they just want one whole outfit for Valentine's Day or whatever, making it custom to them and fit their life. I have a business card, yeah.
Okay, I need it.
Yeah,
We need to definitely share your business cards with each other to the whole point of the network.
What's the main age group?
Series and vintage.
What is the main age group?
She uses social media and steals $40 million.
Majority is probably.
Like, really, who's in jail until this year. Like, this movie is like, she literally, she used her and something and stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah. She had just been. She had 4 major bands in New York.
I've never made it. I just scroll through and see what, I can tell what my wife's been looking at, because she got all these trainers and nutritionists and that.
I really didn't find it really interesting. I started it just to.
That's the worst secrets to know.
If you ever come to my house, I've used it on my bottom bar in the back.
My wife has checked on it.
Just because I have to have some
You
training.
need to follow up with that.
And that day.
She
it's just-
definitely should follow up with
say,
Steel.
You know, Netflix does the #1 today, this chick was #1, so I just. I did it. It's #1. Usually it's about 10 minutes. there. But it's, yeah. She's done. The next thing I know, no. Army. Just lose the team. I could agree with that. She said, then you can just charge. Everybody will exercise. So it's 11. To really take advantage of that. But the Sunday is not church that she. They told you. Figure out what you're saying, and then you'll come back. She's not just. You should do.
Yeah.
If it's that's makes a difference, like even if you are posting on social media, but interacting with others.
She knew my
Every
social
single day I
media.
get on and I go into it, and I comment and interact with 25 other people every single day.
Intentionally.
Yes, intentionally. Yep. And then that lets me see my goals, see my things. So they're like, oh, who was that again? And they go and they click through and they did. And then turn into customers, really turn into clients. And it's a huge difference.
Your own post on your business page. Even if you make a post and people are commenting, going in and saying thanks for commenting or
Liking it.
replying that, that boosts the post to where more people will see that post, more people will be able to engage with it. So that is very important when you're making a post, is to engage with the customer or whoever you're interacting with.
What do you know about
Post on top of the page over and over.
It was in.
Eventually, you want to comment, interact with somebody with that.
It took, right? Re-recorded it to me in the discussion. I started something for him, so I said it, but what I did, it didn't make backwards. And it said, everybody in hospice a host, everybody who I'd ever emailed got it. So what it does is, this is looked up, she's like, this is a backwards. 100 stickers, which is a screenshot, that's what it was. We need to make sure we don't do that. Well, I'm telling you, the way that they did it, they had every person and every company that I touched. They just never pick up on time. I was like, going through, hey, I'm sorry, hey, I'm sorry. And I get to see where it sent you or something and touched it. I was like, don't do that. Because it's going to.
That is so. You'll get more goodness out of that than anything else.
So then we called Maria and she's like, what are you talking about? I just bought it. The worst family on social.
You're now married dead. I'm gonna tell you, you are.
True, I am.
You are.
I know, I sent you that. I can't do this. Like,
We have 7 minutes, 7 minutes before we take a break.
Yeah.
And I know you paid your dues in the medical world. I know you're not gonna pay your dues in the garbage world.
So then do you, because I know you're active on social media, do you kind of put your business into your personal page? You kind of like try to blend the line a little bit?
Normally, I will always, if I make a post, I would go to that on my personal, and then if it's like an Instagram story that I don't even share, I should be like business journey, I share it. And it does, it takes, I love it. People that I have my personal go to that, and it does. You can just story, you can go on, yeah, screenshot.
Kind of blur the line. Because I have 5,000 some friends on Facebook, but I only have 785 in my VIP group. So when I blur the lines and I share and I put like my business stuff on my personal page, it goes automatically to way more people that are seeing it in my VIP group. So it's getting out there.
I think it's important to show people get that personal aspect out. It's important. And
And then FOMO, they fear they're gonna miss out on something.
Yes, 100%.
Like the gym, classes, stuff like that. FOMO is a huge selling point. I know that sounds really dumb, but it is.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and come back together. We have 5 minutes till we take our break. So I just want to recap real quick before we. All right, a nonprofit group, what's something share with all of us?
One thing was like
some people are saying social media, like a lot of people are going away maybe from social media. Maybe the good old fashioned knock on the door too, a little bit of that. That's one thing I have found in hospice, because my target audience is a power of attorney or next of kin. Power of attorney and next of kin are usually right now in a higher age bracket than any of these social media platforms target. So how do I reach them? So that's where it goes back to old school marketing, radio and newspaper and flyers.
So you think COVID has changed the
No,
world for nonprofits?
no.
And what about for businesses? But in some ways, I think it has helped small business owners because more people are wanting to shop locally.
I would agree.
I think that some of us business owners can say that we've actually seen a spike in sales since COVID.
The chamber in the beginning of COVID, we actually did a small business bingo where you stopped by the chamber office and picked up a sheet of paper and it had a bingo on it, like a bingo card. And it had all the businesses that were open and wanting to do business, and you marked them all off as you patronized them. And then you turned back in the chamber for a drawing prize, and it actually went over very well. That's a good idea.
Thanks. It could be a yearly thing tied in with that shop local.
A lot of people didn't know who was and who was not open for business.
How many of you are using a CRM, collecting email addresses and emailing? Does the library? No. Again, that could be another touch when you're looking at your 12 touches. Again, I wouldn't spam them all the time, and don't expect them to read it all the time. You don't want to spend a lot of time creating a monthly newsletter or whatever, but it does, it could be a touch. And sometimes people, like I get 1 million of them from Shutterfly, probably daily. I don't really look at them, but if I want to buy something, I'll do a search in my email, pull up Shutterfly, and then kind of scan till I find what I'm looking for. If you're creating a monthly newsletter, they may not read it right then, but if they're trying to look at it for some information, they may then skim it. So it could be another touch. If you're, you guys were saying maybe social media, that could be an extension of your social media. Good. Anything else from the nonprofit group? All right, for-profit group. Anyone want to share?
Sure. I don't care. I'll talk. I don't care. So one thing that we kind of discussed was finding the time and like how to post, and people saying, well, they wear 1 million hats and stuff like that, which totally get. So finding, sitting down at the beginning of every month and creating all of my posts for the entire month. And then sitting down each Sunday and doing that and going in more to depth, like writing the post out, creating the graphics, whatever I need to do. Using OneNote to type everything up because it's free, phone and laptop. I can do it both. And then, like I said, I just use like a big planner to do that, to get the month all spread out and laid out. Then I know when I'm posting, so I'm not like rushing around at the last minute saying, oh, I didn't post something today, what should I post? I just post something random. It doesn't involve my business. It doesn't involve my personal life. People are like, what? Like they're so confused about what it is. So
good. Something we haven't touched on or mentioned is you want to have a clear branding. You want to make your posts look branded and similar, like you don't want them to be all over the place. You want to have a consistent message that you're sharing with that. Good. One thing we talked about on the for-profit side was, sometimes you may need to look at hiring someone. A virtual assistant was an example that we use. There are people out there. It could be a stay-at-home mom It could be a full-time working mom who still needs some extra income, you could hire as a virtual assistant. You can find individuals like that on LinkedIn, Upwork.com. There's another one, I forget. Fiverr, thank you. I looked at you, I knew you would know. So there's different resources that for hiring a virtual assistant, a marketing company, something like that, that can handle it for you if that is not your strong suit.
Nonprofit can access projects from UC Claremont and what is that called?
Learn and serve.
Yes, and then what is the website for jobs? Is that called job board?
Oh, or is it?
But the Learn and Serve is.
Yeah,
free,
maybe.
and they'll design a website, they'll design a logo, they'll design anything graphically through that. Basically, you're giving the student an assignment and they're completing the assignment for class credit, and then you get the work for free, correct?
Yes, when I was a high school business teacher, I reached out to nonprofits all the time looking for, like, back in the day when we do bulk mailings, I would ask for an actual bulk mailing to do instead of just talking about it in a textbook. And we would do a mass bulk mailing for American Cancer Society. We did it for Grant Home Association, different things like that. So Learn and Serve is another one. It's a grant, kind of like what we're doing here today. It's free. But through Learn and Serve, the schools are given money to provide community service activities. And if you're a nonprofit, you could hire students. It gives them something to put on their resumes, and you do get free labor. Now, with anything, when you're working with students, you do have to double check some things, and it helps to kind of navigate them through those projects, but definitely take advantage of free help. All right, it is now our break time. So the plan is use the restroom, stretch your legs, get up, network, share business cards. If you have your business cards with you, if you can lay a few out right here on the edge of the desk, that would be great, so that we can grab them. And then Missy went to get the food. And when she gets here, we'll all help ourselves, and then we'll start talking again as a class. Yeah, I would definitely like to get some business cards.
Because it's adorable. I love that. I thought it was a Kindle bag just for a second. That is so cute. I keep a Kindle in like one of those, but I love how it looks like a little library card. It's so cute.
So that's forever.
All right.
Yes, they think they need it.
Okay, perfect.
Should be.
That sounds good.
Say closer to 12.
Green, dude. All right, great talk.
There's a spot right there. Yeah, she should be covered right there.
Because I don't have anybody.
What is your husband? What is his?
He does CAD CAM and sells 3D printers. So they have an office in Milford. He has, like 6 employees there. And then he has some in West Virginia and one, or not, he does. Michigan. So can you service Michigan? And
Yeah, I have Florida. I can get licensed anywhere. So
Okay.
I have Ohio, Kentucky, Florida, because I have a large law firm and they have offices in Florida, so
Oh,
I can get them anywhere.
okay.
But yeah,
All right, yeah, I'll definitely, yeah, I love ours. I kept mine from school.
that's what's nice. It's portable. Once you
Yeah.
have it, you have
Yeah.
it. Your price never changes. So my biggest thing is just educating about
Yeah.
it, you know, if it works, it does. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't go in to sell. I go in to educate.
A lot of his people are new, they're like younger.
Yeah.
And so they just started offering 401k, but I don't think a lot of them realize, they
The
just get
short-term
married.
disability, you know, if they can't work, then they pay their bills.
Yeah.
You know, I don't ever sell. I just tell people, you know, what do you have? Do you have a car payment? Do you have rent? Do you have a phone bill? That's all you need. You don't need to pay paycheck, you know, just only get what you get by, and then each year they can make.
Mhm.
I had one guy just like, hey, I just paid off my car. Can I lower my short term by 300? I said, yeah, you know, and I do that every year as open enrollment, so I re-educate. And a lot of our plans have a wellness center. It's just like, I have found so many people haven't done claims. One girl was the group, she's had her policies probably 8 years. And I was like, you've never done a claim? She's like, no. So we've been going to show her how to download the app, show her how to do the claims. And I said, go to your My Chart, go back to your notes and pull those notes, and you can use those just to do your claims. She's like, she's got over $10,000.
Oh my God.
Because she was in the hospital, she had surgery.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you feel good when you see people. So now
You're okay.
you always have, like, the one boy, the one account, he was just like, nobody's ever helped me. The last person out here said that they were, they never helped me. You know, you're not gonna help. And I'm like, I assure you, I will.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he's been doing his things. I went to his house and worked with him and his wife. And she knew how to do it. And now it's like, okay.
Referrals right there. You'll get referrals.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're excited when they come in. Like if I call and say, hey, Tracy, when are you having your next meeting? It's a nursing home. You know, when are you having your next meeting? And she's like, oh, are you coming? You know, they're all just like, you know, they're happy when I come up there. Even if I don't sell anything, at least I'm working with the people that have stuff and make sure they do it, because most of them aren't.
You don't think about it until, but when they see you,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah. I really need to get with you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So, but I make QR codes for all my accounts now. So I have a flyer with a QR code, and they can look at videos and actually the brochures, you know, and they post it. So their employees, when they hire somebody new, they have them do it. So I do it for each, and it links right to that business. Each business has their own. So it's kind of really sharp. So I just got the there today, this afternoon. They only have 3 or 4 new policies, but you know, there's people that work for the village. So fire department, police department.
And they definitely need.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so,
Yeah, I'll definitely.
yeah. So you can just let them know. I mean, I can meet up with any time, like it just takes 15 minutes to really explain. And you already have some knowledge of it anyways, but just what they can do for him. Doesn't have to cost him anything, you know, each employee can choose what they want. You know, if he wants to say, I'm gonna, you know, I have some of my accounts will say, I want the accident plan for everybody, you know, like my trucking accounts and stuff, because it's really cheap, but it has that life insurance on there, so it gives them the peace of mind that.
So we have.
Yeah, I mean, that would.
And it only takes 3 people to create the work. You don't have to have this.
Okay.
Some people do it just for the money. Some people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so this company's a Canadian.
Anyway,
So they don't pay for health insurance. Well, they don't have a health insurance policy. They give everyone 75% of whatever policy they find.
Different
So a lot of
choices.
times.
Got different salaries.
Or have high deductibles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have high deductibles, and that's what this helps, because they can make up that, they can pay less with the health insurance. Because if they have bad life, it takes care of that out of pocket. That goes out there, because my friend did that, she got the cancer policy. That was her biggest concern. She's like, just having that cancer policy, she's like, now I'm taking a higher deductible on my health insurance, because I can pay less each month. And you know what I mean? And that's the one thing that people really devastates.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the chamber.
It grows for 100 years, that you don't, and that's what people forget about that.
It's not like.
Well, I like when I sat there and started, you know, you're coming from a salary.
Yeah. So it's definitely good, just because you hear more and more about it now than we ever did before. It does, it grows 500, it's 487 for an individual tier, but it grows 500. Initial diagnosis, it was about 500 every year. So I had a friend of mine bought hers 25 years ago. She had that accident, she went to the cancer, and her husband died, right? Cancer policy, she still never had it, but she was educated about it. So she retired 15 years later, took her back with it. Kept paying the same amount. Back then, she only paid $6 a week for the cancer. Now it's $867 a week. But 5 years after she retired, her and her husband both got cancer. And if I didn't have Lapse, she said we would have been in really good trouble, because her initial diagnosis check was 14,000 instead of 4, because it grew like 500 every year. So it took care of, you know, even though they had Medicare and Medicaid, this could pay for all that, and they don't have trials at all. You know, that's really, that's like we're paying for going to get all that stuff. But she still takes the chemo pill, it's 6 years now, and her chemo pill once a month is $600. And that's like, it's huge, you know what I mean? It does. It's just peace of mind having it in the back pocket. I've got it for sure. In my family, we have heart cancer in our family, so it's like,
Schedule it, and I can do it.
exactly, yeah. Just, I'll be happy to come in. I'm very flexible with my schedule. You know, I work around my people, you know, and I'm local, so.
But I'm gonna contact brokerage. Now, we have a union and non-union. An open shop. Got the survey. I beat around head and shoulders. Yeah, I get it. And this one over a month. I'm trying to get. Thank you. You like really wanted. So they just come. Take that off. So they wouldn't, nobody would fit. Well, you mean.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm gonna get you, I'm not gonna drop it line, I'm gonna go.
That's not up to me personally. The board has to go outside. So we got hand sanitizer down there and then. Never not happened.
Did we tell them we're taking a break?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not eating in front of
So Randy, you can shut up the competition now, right?
Reset back.
Absolutely.
And,
So there's different kinds of things.
Yes. Okay.
But you know, I'm just sticking with that because but I can set up, I can tell the program, I can go home. Maybe I can see you there.
Well, we always, we can use a chamber member, we will always use a chamber member first, so, raises and that's our, the chamber. So, and then, we now already say that's in between the bathroom. We share the law. Yes, we share the law, but we order from.
I'm not a member of the campaign yet. I'm going to after today.
Okay, I've been working on it.
I know that's what maybe I was looking at.
I gave it to them.
You done everything good?
Yeah. So what are they? Are they?
That's the
Excel
thing,
or-
it's really good.
Oh, what are they? What?
You're doing a great job. This is good.
Reagan McKinney, is that Bill, is her dad Bill McKinney by any chance? Used to be with the bank in Georgetown, the little community bank. Can't remember, First Safety Bank. Okay. I used to hang out with Bill many moons ago, but I haven't seen him for a long time.
Their kids are probably mid-20s now. Maybe down Florida.
Got a brother that's down in Florida right now and loving it.
usually over here.
All the adjectives.
Yeah, Donnie didn't want to mess with it. I think Stephanie talked him out of it. I bought some. bought some equipment from him.
And I wanted a background, like a
It
studio
was the
background.
last
I'm like,
place,
you know, I'm
like
just
Carol
careful,
had
later, like.
storage. And Donnie said, you want to come over and look at it? And I just
And then maybe drop it in the Photoshop.
said, yeah, I'll buy the whole
Edit.
thing.
Yeah.
Just cut her a check.
But then I'm like.
It's mine.
oh,
So
like,
I think that was
so
our
much time
final deal.
And such a longer process.
So it was just the background, it didn't include the stand.
Oh, no, it was the whole thing. No, I had to pick it up after that.
How big is it?
I don't remember. I think it's like 5 feet wide and like 8 feet tall, and so it's perfect for just doing like clothes and jackets and dresses. But now I gotta figure out the best way to like display them, whether it be like a metal stand, like the.
On the West Union store.
Because I thought about, and he said it's like a medium man, but then I'm like, well, I'm gonna try to put a shirt on a size medium man.
That's what we'll-
That's an old one.
Been around.
And it looks good on the back end of the foundation or.
Yeah.
Or- I think he is, either that or in that trailer in the back. when he's out walking.
I think I'm going to use a stand. Mono. pod stand. And put the hanger on it.
I remember
Just make sure that you
lived in the jailhouse.
get it all.
Essentially, I got a flower shop.
Right.
By like 3 feet. So you don't shut. That'll help with your editing.
It might be as old as the
Everyone always
jailhouse.
wants to go right up against my face.
I'd be real close.
So just in general. Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Christmas Day, my daughter, she's a member of the Chamber of Commerce. She has keys to the old jail, because she changed better office.
What do they do? I wonder where they were.
And she took us up there and she went, so it was kind of nice to go up and see how they put lipstick on that pig up there.
You know, it does have good curb appeal outside,
Yeah,
but I know it's really cut up inside.
it's amazing to see some still old banister, the stairway. With the old bridge.
Yeah,
Well, we slid down that thing.
well, I was in there, my mom, of course, worked for Human Services.
Yeah, yeah,
I was in there many times.
yeah.
I love that.
In the, there for a short period, they had that clothing store down in the basement. Have they opened up now? That's it. Have you looked at it? Rumbling going on down in there? Like this, I was like, I gotta see. The many nights, I was like, strange things.
Oh, I'm sure.
Train track down there.
There's numerous suicides happen in jail there. Yeah. I think they're still there.
What's your brother Dave doing?
Up in Hillsborough, probation officer.
Well, few people know that, you know, I went to kindergarten, first and second grade, that's you, and then Dad got the job down at the bank, and moved down there.
But they're at the library hall. But I didn't know, and I wondered if they're like, oh, I had it over. I feel like, we don't even take our library very much.
Yeah, Karen Satterfield, Ian Green, Davey Wilson, Randy Manchester, all of us.
I call Deanne, she does a lot of stuff on LinkedIn all the time.
They always have the annual school board convention at the Columbus Convention Center. I'm walking through, they have an exhibitor showroom in the big convention floor. And I'm walking through with Rick Walton in Manchester. There's Deanne standing there. Doing her, that personal thing that she does.
Are you on the school board?
Yeah, Manchester.
Is that Manchester?
Yeah.
That's what your name's familiar. Yeah. One right local school board.
Oh.
My second year, so.
We took pizza to Sugar Tree Ridge this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Through Debbie Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember texting about now.
I kind of look at it as a great market, because if I can get 488 pieces of pizza in children. Hopefully we'll do a great thing. And I have-
You know, I'm thinking that's bad. Serve that way. But I'm thinking on that side, why? Anybody want to do that?
I like that it came from like.
Well, you know, actually, I don't know.
I gotta be like, great weekend.
Not issues. There's always a time without. But I don't know, they don't call me. I had one who just recently called me. My dad's are. Like 45 years. Yeah, the red is a high valley.
Get started about 3 minutes. You can keep eating while I
My
talk.
limited experience, it shows that you got the right people in place, you never see that problem.
That's right. That's right.
And so I have a whole lot. My personal friends will think they can call me up. But I'm like, you gotta try to explain to them, there's a. Yes, go to the problem first. It's teachers, go to the teacher. And they still understand that. Process. Right. They're going.
Yeah. We hired 2 people. And now we're turning off.
He's like, let's get I'm like, trample wine. What?
I go up to get.
Yeah, we didn't go. They didn't have.
And he was watching. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
So this is my
He
first
was like, listen,
year up.
Now, did you say it was up to 2021? No, the 2021 they did have, it was a 2020 thing. Yeah, because we always do, I love it. I've learned so much with it.
Ted Dowling talked to me about the idea, you know. But he's coming here, you know, my kids are young, they're in school, he had a big sales pitch to me, and so I looked into it. It's interesting. I've got the time to do it.
Good fish.
Have a look at it
Like Gold Star or something like that.
as a way to maybe give back.
Well, I hope you didn't plan on getting wealthy on that $25.
Per meeting.
Per meeting.
Yeah, I knew Jeff's might be. I think so. Stack of stuff. Take up your whole body.
All right. Those that are online, we're gonna go ahead and get started again. Lisa do you know which companies are online? Has any of them said? If you're online, if you can go ahead and do a little plug in the chat area, I'll have Lisa kind of give your plug out loud for everyone today. So I guess we have 13 online, is that right? We have 13 who have joined us online. I wasn't aware of that. So we'll give them a chance to give their plug here towards the end. All right, so before we start again, go ahead and look at your check-in message that you posted and see how we're doing. So check your, let's see. Looks like mine has reached 202 people. I have 7 likes, 7 comments, and I have 1 share because I shared it to my personal one. All right. On my personal one, looks like I have 3 comments and 4 shares. What about you?
I had 5 likes and 1 share.
5 likes, 1 share.
1 share, she's from Texas.
Ours reached 123 people, 2 likes, 1 share, and then on the personal. Personal, it was 3 likes.
Okay.
So, 6 likes and 1 comment.
All right. Anyone have more than 6 likes, 1 comment? 6 likes, 1 comment. All right. Okay, I am not going to count mine. I'm not going to win my own prize. Victoria, you are the winner.
Aw,
You are my Valentine today.
Thanks, Rebecca. That's so cute.
So obviously that's only been 4 hours, but it just shows you, it gives you some content to share. It did get reached. It did help All Fit out. We'd like to thank All Fit for having us today. This has been a great facility. And then Brown County Chamber, Adams County Chamber, and ABCAP have all been involved. Dunkin' Donuts and La Rosa's helped sponsor the events today, right? They didn't sponsor them?
They didn't sponsor them. We just used them, their food because they're members.
Okay, perfect. So Brown County Chamber provided the
And Adams
food.
County Chamber
Did you-
paid for the
okay.
lunch today.
They shared it. Perfect. So we do want to give a shout out to both chambers for providing food. The food was great today. So thank you. Before we get started again, Lisa, do you have any upcoming classes that you want to mention? Sorry, she just threw food in her mouth. I waited till she took a mouthful and then said, hey, talk to us. Lisa's going to come over here so that you guys can hear.
Okay, so the upcoming social media trainings are all going to be on Tuesdays. Next Tuesday, we'll be in Georgetown and we'll have photography and marketing. And it'll be a hands-on training. These are all hands-on trainings. And then the following Tuesday, March the 1st, we're going to be in West Union. And that's going to be Facebook. Then we're back in Georgetown with Instagram and LinkedIn. West Union with YouTube and Pinterest. And then the last 2 Tuesdays of March, we'll have a website design class, one in Georgetown and one in West Union. All these classes are hands-on, and you will actually create your website, your Facebook page, your LinkedIn account, your Pinterest account, whatever we're working on that day. So this is in your folder. And for anybody on Zoom, we can send you, we'll be sending you the recording of this, so you can also get a flyer along with that. We'll make sure we get those out. Perfect.
Thank you. And then just let me know when everyone's commented where they're from and we'll read those off. All right, so we have about 20 minutes. Do you have a survey or anything at the end that we need to save time for? No, okay, perfect. All right, so here's the things that we've kind of hit on. Remember your target market. Always remember who your target market is, and things, we don't always think about it, but Black, white, the counties, the states, the economic, how much money do they make falls into the target market. So the target market can be sexist, racist, all those things. All right. So you do have to remember when you're creating the graphic, if your target market is males between the ages of 25 to 40, it should not have a pretty pink background with a bunch of roses around the outside of it where you throw something in the middle. All right. It needs to be masculine. It needs to represent your target market. Always remember your budget. If you're like my small business, you got to remember your budget. Otherwise, you can sink your business really fast. So, like I mentioned before, I would much rather send a $5 Dunkin' Donut e-card to one of my clients for their birthday than to spend $5 on Facebook ads. I just feel like I get more by doing things like that, being more personal than doing something that's very general. So I feel like Facebook, Instagram, all those things, you could do organic growth and make an impact versus paying for ads and use those marketing dollars for other things. Like I mentioned before, I wear a lot of our Vardy Fuel Ministry apparel, all fits being represented. He's got his shirt on, like those things are important for brand recognition, because again, it gives someone that one of those, they see your logo. You can purchase items. We even have someone here who does promotional products over there in the corner, right? So if you need ideas for promotional products, definitely you put your business cards out here, didn't you? Okay. So Patty has business cards sitting here if you're interested in that. But you could definitely look at how that could benefit you. Remember what has worked. Many times we say, oh, remember when we did that Facebook Live and we ended up with all those followers, or we had that, big giveaway. And remember when? You want to go back to those remember wins and do them again. See if it'd be beneficial to do it again. If you find something that didn't work, maybe you come up with a different idea. During COVID, we did a lot of online Zoom calls with some different people, and we tried some things with the diabetic group, and we just tweaked a few things. And when we talked to them again, things had improved. And things they had changed was just the branding, keeping things consistent, and going and posting. We changed their posting times, and it was a better fit for their group. So sometimes you just have to kind of see what has worked, what has not worked, tweak it a little bit so that it fits your needs a little bit better. And it may be just a matter of posting several different times to figure out what works. The for-profit side, when we were meeting, we were talking about, sometimes you do have to change that up. A boutique on Tuesday Night Lives may work during basketball season, but not work during baseball season or whatever. So you need to look at who your target market is and make sure that you're meeting their needs and their schedule. This one's a big one. Research your competition. You need to know what they're offering. You need to know how they're promoting, and use boutiques out west. Use car dealership in New York. Use a pizza shop in Chicago, whatever the case may be. No one's going to know that you are using their ideas. And it might be a compliment to them that you're using their ideas. Many times when I sit down with a client and I'm like, okay, they want me to build them a website, and I'm like, okay, what website do you love? And they'll tell me, okay, what website do you not like? They'll tell me, okay, why did you like this one? Why do you not like that one? Okay, it gives me a direction. It tells me, what you're looking for. Same thing goes with this. If you're researching your competition, you're like, I like how they do this, but I don't like how they do that, and you kind of figure out what your little niche should be, what marketing tools could work, those types of things. But you definitely need to know your competition. Everything you're doing, remember your vision. You need to make sure that you are dreaming. You're setting your goals. You're also got to remember your mission to make sure that you are still moving forward with what you set forth to do. And you need to incorporate your tagline. If you have not came up with a tagline, you can work on it. When I left the group earlier, you guys were working on a tagline for Ashley, right? I heard one, something about the raccoon. Yes. There we go. So a little brainstorming, and we might have came up with a tagline over there for one of our businesses. And then incorporate hashtags and consistently use them to help with brand recognition. Everything's all about branding, company branding. All right. Any questions over what we've covered so far this morning? Again, this 4-hour course is like a crash course, we hit on some topics and had to keep moving. If you want to dig deeper into it, those classes that are coming up every Tuesday, this is the introductory workshop. And then we'll dive deeper over the next 6 Tuesdays or whatever. And during that time, you need to come with your flash drive full of pictures, content, anything that you can think of that you might need to use during the class. All right, because it isn't just a sit and listen, it's a sit and work. It's one of those like you've carved time out to work on Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever it is, and we're gonna, work on those things and give you some time. The website one is literally you start with nothing, and by the end of the class, you have a website. So it can be very beneficial. All right. Lisa, did we have some comments? Okay. For those that are joining us online, if you would like a shout out, a plug for your company, be sure to add that to the chat, and Lisa will share those with the group here today. We have, there's about 15, 16 of us here in this room, so we would love to hear about your businesses. All right, just let me know if anyone takes advantage of it. Facebook events, we kind of skimmed over that real quick earlier. Do utilize Facebook events. If it's an annual event, Missy and I was talking about this yesterday. If it's an annual event, you could consider making a page for that event. And kind of give it its own space versus an event on your business page. So do interact with it, add some co-hosts on there so that you can have multiple people commenting and posting on there, and ask friends to share. That's the big key, is asking friends to share. So when I say I like things to grow organically, as far as not paying for ads and things, that's when you're starting to rely on friends to share. All right, our Facebook Lives, we hit on that. All right. I was saying insights, data. This is what, it breaks it down for you. It shows you the different categories, and then you can break it down from there. So there's a whole thing on finding out what has worked, what has not worked. Victoria said that she posted different times, different content, month of January, is that right? Last month, so that she can see what worked, what didn't, so that she would know moving forward. But I will, we'll jump right in there and tell you it's video.
Oh, no, for sure.
Video is what has been the drive for several businesses in this room. So, but you definitely need to break up the data, and that's located right there on your Facebook page. All right, here is some statistics. These are a couple years old. 60 to 80% of purchase decisions in the business-to-business space are made through online research before contacting the company. Does everyone agree? 90% of the 500 companies use a major social media platform. 77% of buyers are more likely to buy from a company if the CEO uses social media. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Never really thought about that. Anyone have any thoughts on that? 92% of people delete emails and voicemails from people they don't know. Anyone? All right, we're getting some nods. 53% of business-to-business buyers follow social discussions about vendors they are considering. definitely agree with that. And I bet that number's climbing. All right. We talked about in our group earlier, the more people see that it's a real person behind that business, they're supporting that person more than that business. So you do want to make sure that you don't make your platforms look, like robotic. That's the word I needed. Robotic. You need it to look personal. People are buying from people, not from the business in some cases, especially when you look around the room, we're a bunch of small businesses. Good. All right. This number's rising. 25% of customers check their social networks several times a day.
We're like 97.
Yeah, at this point.
It's considered all day.
That number is rising. I thought that was kind of funny. That's from a couple of years ago, but maybe again, it might be a COVID.
That number's transposed.
Yeah. I bet it has. It's probably 72% now. 35% of customers check brand pages regularly as part of their social media activity. 27% altogether, social media takes up 27% of their time online. It's a growing number. 61% of young people refer to social media to decide where to go when they go out. How many of you are part of that Chow Down Cincinnati Facebook group? No? There's a group on Facebook. It's one of those, it's right now is populating on mine all the time, but it's basically, you go in there and people will be like, we're going to Maysville, where should we eat? And then everyone gives their plug. We're going to Milford, where should we eat? And you do find yourself when you're going out, you're like, you do a search to see like what people recommend. If you can get your business mentioned on there, that's driving sales up. So you definitely want to join those types of groups if it fits your industry, and make sure that you're giving yourself a shout out on there and having other people give shout outs and writing Google reviews and all those types of things. That number is rising. All right, and we listed those up there. All right, make sure you wrote those down. All right. Okay, any questions? Snapchat. I got some smiles on that one. You should consider it possibly for your business, depending on what your business is. It could be a great hiring tool. Snapchat, I just got back on it because I need to, I go through circles. Like if I'm about ready to teach on it, I'll get back on it. But Snapchat, TikTok, they're here. They're now. And then YouTube, LinkedIn. All right. And Victoria was our winner. Okay, 6 minutes. Do you have anything? As we come to a close.
In addition to the trainings that we have coming up the rest of this month and in March, we'll have more trainings. They're monthly. So, I have everybody's email I'll add you to my email list, and then you'll get notification every time we have a training. We have anywhere from 3 to 4 trainings a month, sometimes 5, just depending on what we have going on. So you can always watch for that. If you need one-on-one assistance, give me a call. My contact information is in there. I can sit down with you and help you with stuff. And, just kind of watch for my emails. They'll be coming out. So thank you, Rebecca, for a great class. A lot of good information. Thank you, Joby. This facility is great. Yeah. Missy and Patty, thank you guys for breakfast and lunch from both the chambers. And thanks everybody for attending today.
Thank you.
We do have business cards here. If you haven't had a chance to throw yours down, definitely. We just have like 3 minutes left, but it's a great time to again just talk. Because I know at 1 o'clock, most people would have to run out. So a little bit of time. This is a little bit more time. But again, kind of network and get a chance to make some connections before you leave.
She's like, I didn't know where I was.
I just had a question. So the way I got more likes and shares and comments on mine was I posted a picture of you guys on my check-in. Pictures go
That did it.
further.
That did
Yeah.
That put you over the hump, didn't it?
Yes. So I got someone asked or said, tell Tanya that she said hi through it. She's like, how did she know?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Any good